All right. Okay. I don't think he's gonna show up late. He messaged me at 6:30 and said that we are good for 7 o'clock. Alrighty, I'm ready. He said 2 hours ago he's gonna talk to you. Oh, where? On Twitter? I haven't thought about her in so fucking long. Up there in my like best debate performances. Holy fuck, I can't fucking speak. Best debate performances of all time. Where's Mr. Girl? He said 1 second, but he's gonna come through in just a minute. So we're just kind of hanging out. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, you can't send me links, but you can always join my Discord, which there's a link for in the description. Or if you're watching on Destiny's site, then you can post links in there. Just tag me so I can actually see it. Because people are talking about, I think, XQC or some shit. So if y'all want some memes to just kind of look at while we're waiting, send them there, okay? Oh, he's calling. Never mind. Don't do that. Yo.
Hey, man.
How's it going?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. Just so you know, I am live right now. I am streaming. So
Yeah. I saw. I was watching a little bit.
okay, cool. Do you? I don't know if you're recording this on your end. Do you need me to?
No, I'm not recording.
Okay, cool. Then I'm just gonna turn on the camera on my end then, if that's cool with you. Unless you need that deep sensual eye contact.
No. That's okay.
All right. Of course, my stream starts skipping immediately. All right, no video from me. All good. So let's see. I don't know.
Just talking shit about Lav.
I did not talk shit about Lav. Okay.
Oh, you did. That grinds in my gears. But go off, sis. What do you
okay,
want to
wait,
talk
hold
about?
on. What did I say that was mean about Lav?
That her brain turns off and she doesn't know what's happening, and that she goes by her feelings about what happened in a conversation instead of what actually happened. You basically said that she can't understand what's happening, is not credible, and that nothing she says means anything or has any point.
That's not at all what I said. I feel like what I said, and if the way that I worded it came off differently, let me know. But what I was trying to get across was I think that most people, when they engage with someone, especially people who are younger or more immature, like emotionally or something like that, um, they have something that they expect someone to say. And then no matter what the other person says, if there's even an inkling of what they expect to hear, they will turn it into like the worst version of what they expect to hear. And I feel like in a lot of ways, that's what I've seen from Lav, from the conversations involving you and Cherry and Stardust and Destiny
Okay,
and all
so
those people.
do you remember saying, do these people ever go back and listen to what actually happened?
That was someone in chat. I do remember reading that out, but
Can you share their sentiment?
um, I don't know. I can't speak for you guys in terms of like going back because I don't go back and listen to myself because I can't stand my voice.
The sentiment is that we don't know what we're talking about. Do you share that sentiment?
Don't know what you're talking about in regards to your emotions.
In regards to the conversations that we're referring to, Lav was talking to Steven about, or in about Steven, conversations that they had previously. You and your chat seem to believe that Lav does not have a good perspective on what happened in those conversations. Am I mischaracterizing your position here?
I think that Lav might not, although I don't know her well enough to know if there's something else there, or maybe there's a conversation that I missed. But I feel like the things that I've seen from Lav on Destiny's stream um, largely line up with the things that he said about her. That she's very young and that she is trying to figure out what her concrete positions are, and that she's like in an exploratory phase in terms of like emotional and like in
Wait, are you
I,
not going to answer my question?
I'm sorry, am I not?
It doesn't feel like it.
Okay, what was the question exactly?
Is this a misrepresentation of your position? Lav is not good at knowing what actually happened in the conversations that she talks about.
I think that if I'm going to answer it with that framing, then no, I wouldn't hold to that sentiment. It's not that she's not good at it. It's that it is a thing that people acquire over time as they mature. Um,
Okay, so Lav is too immature to know what happened in a conversation after she has it.
Her perception of the things that people say are different than the intended message that they gave out.
Her
And that,
perception of conversations she has is inaccurate or warped somehow.
yeah,
Okay, so that's what I meant when I said you're talking shit about Lav. You said, what did you say about her that was mean? My answer is, it seemed like you were going on at great length about how Lav is not credible. She doesn't know what's going on. She
well, I
doesn't
didn't
remember
speak to
what
her
happened.
credibility, but
Well,
I understand what
if
you're
you're saying
saying.
that if you're saying she is too immature, okay. If I said I think you're too immature to know what's happening in a conversation, do you think that's an attack on your credibility?
Um, Credibility? No, maybe it's a attack on my ability to have like deep conversations, but I don't think credibility. When I think credibility, I think about someone's ability to uh, either recognize that they have had an incorrect position in the past, which it seems like Lav does have the ability to do. She is able to have that introspection afterwards and say, like, okay, maybe I fucked up here, or I understand how this might have made someone feel this way. So I don't know if I would say credibility, but maybe we mean different things by credibility.
Well, when I say credibility, I mean
The ability to
um
trust her on any given topic.
no. Here, I'll look up the definition and I'll tell it to you, and then
Sure.
you can tell me if you think this is what it means. The quality of being trusted and believed in. The quality of being convincing or believable.
Well then, yeah, no, that I feel like that wouldn't speak to her credibility. I think that it would speak to her, like, fuck, I lack the vocabulary to say this. I not emotional intelligence, just her ability to, I feel like some people will shut down, when certain things are said, or if they already feel like they're about to be attacked, they'll expect a certain line of thought, or they'll expect a certain line of dialogue.
Yeah,
And
I just don't see how you can make the argument that saying that somebody doesn't know what they're talking about is not discrediting or an attack on their credibility. If Lav tells you she had a conversation and then tells you what she thinks of that conversation, it sounds like you believe she should not be trusted to be able to do that. She doesn't know what happened. She's confused. She has a warped perception of what happened, and you shouldn't listen to her. She doesn't know what's going on. It doesn't line up with reality. That's what credibility is. That's when you shouldn't listen to what somebody says because they don't know
yeah,
what they're talking about.
credibility is based off of someone's ability to be truthful in a conversation, or if you think that they're being like a bad faith actor or some shit like that, right?
No, they could also just not know what they're talking about. If they're wrong, it's discrediting to say, "Well, you're not a liar. You just can't remember you're unable to remember the
It's
conversation."
not that she doesn't remember. She has a different perception of it. She remembers the
It's
conversation,
not
of course.
different. You think her perception is warped or incorrect, which is the same as not remembering.
I disagree with that.
Well, if you remember what happened, then your perception would be correct.
I
You're
feel
saying
like
that her
she has
perception.
been able to, with 100% accuracy sometimes, restate what Destiny says verbatim, but get an entirely different meaning out of it. So
Okay, so she knows she
the
knows what happened, but she
interpretations
doesn't
of things.
understand what it meant.
It's not that she. Do you understand that different people can understand different, like, can take something
Yes,
in
but
two
you said
different
that her
ways?
way of taking it is wrong. I don't understand why you won't just admit that you're saying that she's wrong and doesn't know what she's talking about.
Because I feel
I
like the
feel like this.
framing is super weird, but I mean, if it'll move the conversation forward, we can say that and we can continue.
Well, that doesn't move the conversation forward because you're saying that you don't mean it. You're acknowledging something while saying you're not acknowledging it, so it doesn't really move the conversation forward. I mean, I guess we can drop it if you don't want to talk about it. But the reason I
I
came in saying you're
I
talking shit
understand.
about Lab, okay,
Yeah, I understand. I think that um the the best I could do is say that I can think about this further because I've never thought about credibility in that way, or trusting someone, or like denigrating someone with like saying that they're not credible because they had an emotional response in that way, right?
well, that's a great way to discredit somebody. I mean, that's what's happening to me too. If you ask the average Destiny viewer now, is Mr. Girl credible? They're going to say no. If you say why, they say because he thinks his feelings are reality. He can't understand other people's feelings or points of views. He is blinded by his own emotions. Steven is credible because Steven doesn't get blinded by emotions. Steven sees through emotions. Steven is rational. That's like the standard way of discrediting people in the GGG universe is to say they're too emotional to follow the conversation.
Um, I don't know if that's the standard, but I do recognize that people do talk about people in that way.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's unique to Destiny's audience. I think that a lot of
I'm not saying
people.
it's unique to them. I'm
Okay,
just saying
sorry.
it is the standard mode of discrediting that is applied to me and Lav is that we are not stupid, but we're crazy.
Um, I think that that's. I think that there's two things there. I think on one hand, there's probably some amount of people that genuinely think that you're fucking crazy. I don't. I don't think that you're crazy. In fact, before uh no, even currently, I still think that you're an intelligent person, and I think that you think through a lot of the things that you talk about. I never got a chance to really watch any of your content because you got banned off of everything. So I never got a chance to really like go through every video that you've ever made. But the perception that I have of you is that you're a very intelligent person who has very strong opinions, and it, from my perception, is very hard to change your position on something once you feel very strongly about it.
That's
Um,
another narrative about me. That's not true. You would
well,
just have to say so, like
yeah, go
about
ahead.
what? Like you'd have to say something that I agreed with to change my mind. You can't change my mind by presenting like stupid arguments I don't agree with.
Well, sure, of course, but I think that a lot of the times that you and Destiny have talked, I can't think of anything offhand because I didn't prepare for this topic in
Okay,
this.
well,
I
if we're
have a
not going to get
little.
into specifics, it's just going to be you
Well,
saying
no,
Destiny was right and you wouldn't admit it, but I can't
no, I
explain
don't.
why he was right or what you were talking about.
It's not that I'm saying that Destiny was right or that you were wrong, right? It's that I think that it's hard for any person who's on stream to change their position in real time, and I don't watch any of your specific content. So I don't know if you've changed your positions over time on anything. Does that make sense?
Sure, but if you haven't watched my content and you don't know, then why make the statement that I don't change my mind if you have no idea what you're talking about?
Because I've seen you loop with Destiny multiple times on stream, so it doesn't seem like
Right. So again, what I just said, you're bringing up an example, the vague, no specifics of a time Destiny was right and I was wrong, but you don't know what he was right about. You just know he was right. You
I can
don't know
think of
what I
one
was
off.
wrong
I
about.
can think of one off the top of my head, but I don't want this to get into a conversation about that. I would much rather talk
Then
about
why bring it up?
because you asked me.
I didn't ask you anything. I said the way that I am discredited in DGG is to say that I'm crazy. I'm not asking you anything. This is
Right,
a
and then
fact.
yeah, and then I said that I don't think that you're crazy, and then I gave my perception of you, and then
No, you
you
said you don't think I'm stupid.
no, I said I don't think that you're crazy, and I also don't think that you're stupid.
Okay, you said I don't think you're crazy. I think you're actually kind of intelligent, but the two are not really related. And then you brought up that I don't change my mind about things, which is also discrediting. You're now telling the audience that I believe what I believe just because I believe it, but you don't have an example of me doing that, and you don't have an example of a time where
Okay,
you have to show that I think I should have changed my mind, and then I didn't because I'm too stubborn. But I agree with the points made against me that you have evidence of in some other area, and there's no fucking way you're able to do that because it's not true.
okay. I want to like hardcore reset the energy here. There
Okay.
is I don't know what your perception of what my goals are or what the energy that I was
Your
bringing to
goal,
this.
I
Yeah,
believe your goal is to defend Steven and discredit his critics.
um, discredit his critics. Okay, I have three goals listed here. Um, get Max to either consider. I would even be okay with getting you to consider, even if you don't accept or if you don't agree. But get Max to either consider or accept that he may be wrong about the perception he has of Destiny's community and moderation rules. Get Max to accept or consider that the negative feedback he receives is his own doing and not the hit job he seems to think it is. I couldn't think of a better word than hit job. Um, and see if Max would be willing to back down from the overly broad statements that this should be done for every orbiter. And we can get into the things that you said should be done for orbiters. But these are my goals. I have no
Okay,
intention
well,
of
this is a
discrediting you or of making
well, no,
you
you are. You're saying get Max to reconsider his positions, meaning that my positions are not correct. I'm wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about. And then get me to believe that Destiny is good and correct and that I am wrong.
okay. Is the simple fact of like considering that you are wrong mean that I'm trying to discredit you?
Well, I've already considered that I'm wrong, so you don't have to get me to do that. But you believe that if I considered it, then I would think it. So you don't really mean consider. You just mean you want me to think that I'm wrong. You want to convince me that I'm wrong.
Okay. Well, this is not what my goal is. Um, The only reason I say get him to consider is because I don't know if you have considered it or not. Because
I
when
always
we,
consider if I'm wrong. I would never make a public statement without considering the fact that it might not be true.
okay, the reason that I have the perception that you have not considered it is because um, while watching the previous 2 or maybe 3 weeks of I don't know how long it's been of drama going back and forth between multiple people, a lot of which I agree with you on. Like the cherry stuff was absolutely fucking dog shit. She should not have done that. And Stardust shouldn't have backed her on that without having way stronger evidence of something that did happen or didn't happen. There's absolutely no reason that they should have gone forward with that. And all of these conversations that I've seen, I have not seen you steel man Destiny's point. And if you have, then I've missed it. But I've watched all of them several times at this point.
Destiny's point about what? His moderation?
The moderation or that the well, we can start with number one, right? The perception that you're being targeted in some way,
Okay. Um,
or prior
Steven's
to the
Steve.
declaration of war. Just to be clear, go ahead.
Okay, Steven has a mod in his subreddit that bans people for being fans of me or for agreeing with me too strongly in my disagreements with Steven.
Right, but that was after the
No, he did it.
declaration of
He did it.
war.
He did it in the argument about Fuentes too, and he did it in well, Steven. Somebody made a post that had like 500 upvotes, and Steven removed it. And the post was saying that Steven contradicted himself a bunch and that he was gaslighting me in the debate.
Yes, I saw the conversation where you guys went over that. So
Okay. So,
I think that um I saw that in going through some of the subreddit. I am not a regular Reddit user.
wait, can I, before you
Oh yeah, go
continue,
ahead.
can I just finish laying this out?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that you weren't done. Go ahead.
Okay, so we had this very public disagreement about Fuentes. And in the disagreement, I said the only way to really do this ethically is for you to take feedback from people, and it doesn't seem like you're very open to feedback. He said, I am open to feedback. Then he started deleting posts disagreeing with him about Fuentes. So it doesn't seem like he is open to feedback from his community, even posts that are widely upvoted and very supported. Then he went on a purge and he banned people for their comments about Fuentes. So now not only are you sanitizing Fuentes, you're now banning people for calling you out on it. So I'm caught in the crossfire. It's not that he's targeting me; he's just defending himself and his like ego. But I'm caught in it because at that moment I am the greatest threat to, I guess, public perception of him. And then the mod hates me already. So then the mod banned somebody for agreeing with me. I called a professor a motherfucker in a discussion with him.
Yeah, I saw that clip earlier. Someone sent me the your original going to war Reddit post, and that was included there, I think.
Right. So somebody defended that and they said, well, the guy was passive aggressive. And then Steven's mod banned him just for it had nothing to do with Steven. He's just banning people for defending me. So I compiled all this evidence and pointed it out and said, look, you have too much power in the relationship. Everybody's your fan. You have power over how people think of things because you get to say what's happening. You get to mute me. You get to talk over me. Do whatever you want. You get to talk after I leave and before I come on and say whatever things you want about me. And then, so like if we're gonna have that much of an imbalance, and I think you're like genuinely just trying to discredit me and make me look stupid when I make good points about you or provide good pushback, then you start banning people just for being fans of me, and it's like, yeah, I think like so. There's two prongs to this. One is I just don't want to deal. I don't want to do this. I don't want this to be part of my life, and like I'm gonna stop working with him if it doesn't change somehow. And like I love Steven. I love Steven personally. Like, he's my friend and I'm his friend and I want it to, stay that way. But I don't want to come on to be like a crazy moron who doesn't know what he's talking about and then I can't even defend myself. Let's like duct tape over my mouth, hands tied behind my back while you like beat up on me. Like no, I don't want to do that. So that's one. It's just the personal thing of like I'm not going to do this. And then the second thing is like no, I think it's genuinely immoral. I think it's wrong to set your community up to dogpile people like this. And I'm not definitely not the first person it's happened to. It's happened to a lot of people. I've watched it happen to a lot of people. I've even caused it to happen to people where like I said something about Brittany Simon and then all of a sudden DGG is like 3 days of calling her like a Nazi sex cult leader. Just because I said it and it like resonated with them. It's a weapon and it's scary. And now the weapon, of course, is aimed at me and Lav. And um, I don't think Steven is taking appropriate steps to do his streams ethically with respect to his orbiters. I think it's wrong.
Okay. Or I don't want to interrupt you if you're still going.
I'm done.
Okay, cool. Um, so I recognize that there have been some posts that should not have been either banned or deleted or anything like that. I think even Destiny said as much about the post that you were referencing with the 500 upvotes. But I there are instances from his subreddit where people criticize Destiny and back you that have even more upvotes than that didn't get banned, right?
Just because no, he cannot feasibly get away with banning all of them. All he can do is have a chilling effect on criticism of him by banning some of it, targeting some people who do it, and then hoping that suppresses the rest of it until I declared war, which didn't mean anything. I didn't do anything. All I did was say like I'm going to write a post criticizing you. It's not real war. Um, the only effect of that was it gave him an excuse to now ban all fans of me. So he
Okay.
is suppressing as much criticism of him as optically tolerable, which now is like quite a bit.
Do you think that there is perhaps a different metric by which they decide to ban people on the average, right? Because if he was trying to
Well,
get
there's the
rid of
stated metric and then
really
the real
quick,
metric.
yeah. So
I know the
on one
stated
hand,
metric.
well, really quick, I just want to say, if he was trying to ban people that were giving the best critiques of him that could actually blow him the fuck out, why would he ban the person that you were referencing that was basically saying Destiny's just gaslighting and he's being a piece of shit and Mr. Girl is right? Meanwhile, I have a
He
post
didn't
up
say
on.
he didn't say Destiny was a piece of shit. That didn't happen.
Okay, well, I mean, if you call someone like a gaslighter, the
He didn't call him a
implication,
gaslighter. That didn't happen.
or maybe I'm thinking of a different post, but did the
He
post that
said
you're
he said he was going in circles. He was being super evasive to the point where it genuinely felt like gaslighting.
okay? I think that that is tantamount to saying that someone is gaslighting someone else. But
That's not
if
that,
that,
but that's not tantamount to saying they are a gaslighter or that they are a piece of shit.
I think that when most people read those
It does not.
statements,
That doesn't. No. That doesn't matter. What most people think doesn't matter. If you're
I thought
saying that
the
it is
entire thing
if
was
you
about
okay,
like
do you think
perception
that it
by
should be
a
a moderation
community.
rule in Destiny's subreddit that he cannot be accused of gaslighting?
I think that the rule that I have heard that it has to
Wait,
be
I want you
some.
to answer this question.
I am.
Do you think posts that accuse Destiny of gaslighting ever should be banned?
Uh, that they should ever be banned, or that they.
No. Do you think that it should be against the rules of Steven's subreddit to accuse him of
No,
gaslighting
of
in
course
any?
not.
Okay, so you're allowed to accuse Steven of gaslighting.
Yes, but I think that the stated metrics that they have, and I have a post up right here that I'm trying to speak to, right?
Sure.
That people will they will leave up these posts that do critique Destiny, right? I don't know if you have the stream open
I just
or if you
spoke. I
want.
just responded to that. I understand they leave posts up that critique Destiny. That's
Right,
not
but this one,
the
why would they leave up one that has even more upvotes than the one that you're talking about? Why
because
why would you not believe what they're saying about the
because the number of upvotes is not the metric by which they choose something to ban.
then why did you bring up that it had 500 upvotes if not to speak to the credibility and the sentiment of the DGGers that upvoted it?
I did, but I wasn't bringing it up to speak to the reason for banning it.
Okay, so
The
what was the
reason
reason for banning it?
the reason for banning it is that it made Steven feel bad. The thing that made him feel bad was that he was accused of gaslighting. He explained this. He said this is unhinged, and it pissed me off. So I banned it. But then when I pointed it out to him, he himself agreed that it should be unbanned. So I don't know why you're defending his reason for banning it when he himself acknowledged, when called out on it, that it wasn't a good look and unbanned it.
What I'm trying to say is, like, yes, there's probably like people who get banned that shouldn't get banned, right?
Okay.
Or that don't meet the specific requirements as laid out by the rules. But and that's something that I want to
Well,
get to later.
one
I
of the
just want
rules
to
is you can
one
be
second.
banned for any reason. There are
Yeah,
no
and
rules.
I think that that's a base rule. All right, I think that.
Then why are we
everyone-
arguing about
hold
it?
on,
There's
wait.
no okay. If you think it's fine for
Well,
him to
hold on,
ban people
wait,
for
really
any
quick, really
reason,
quick, really
then there's
quick.
no point in talking about this at all.
No, because there is. Because I think that on one
You're
hand,
you're
no,
all over the
no,
place, man.
I'm not all over the place. I'm right here. Okay, Max, right here. I'm vibing with you. I'm chilling. Okay, I'm sitting cross-legged. I'm not even alert. Okay, so I think that if it's things that are going to make Destiny feel bad, right? If it's not contributing to actual discourse, that's something that they said that they would ban for, right? If that one didn't really meet that standard and it got banned, even though it didn't explicitly break the rules, I can understand why it got banned. Maybe it's stupid that it got banned, and you can make that argument. But to say that it was
Then what does
wait, hold
I
on.
understand
Wait, really
mean?
quick.
If
Because
it's
wait, if
stupid,
you,
then don't
I
say you
literally had one more
understand it.
sentence.
It doesn't
No,
make any
hold on.
sense.
I just had one more sentence. Okay. Now I can understand that if you, I can understand saying that it's stupid, right? And that the perception is that he's trying to get rid of dissent. But when there are much more hardcore
I
sourced,
already
wait,
responded to this. You
I
said this twice, and I already responded to it twice.
So let me see if I have your
The
position
metric
correctly.
by which they are deleting posts is not, it is the best faith criticism of Steven. They will delete posts when they can find an excuse to delete a post that makes Steven feel bad. That's it. If the post threatens his image and there's any reason he can think of to delete it, then that will get that. If he's in the mood, then he'll remove it. Now, when he's a little calmer, if it's pointed out, or if I'm going to embarrass him by reading it out on stream, then he'll unremove it, because that is now the new most optically acceptable, image preserving thing to do. Is obviously he doesn't really think that it's a bannable post, so he puts it back up.
Can you explain to me how it is more image preserving to ban someone who basically said that Destiny was gaslighting you in that conversation? Why is it more optically like purifying for that to be deleted, and not this one that basically says that everything that Destiny says is completely inconsistent with what what he has said in the past and what he actually believes, with all of these citations and saying that
Because a well-researched, good faith post is part of Destiny's image is that he takes criticism and feedback. So it wouldn't really make him live up to that image if he started deleting the most popular posts that he cannot possibly have an excuse for deleting. He has to leave that one up.
so the position is that Destiny will delete
No,
critical.
there's
Sorry,
no.
I'm trying.
The position is okay. Let me tell you the position. Destiny deletes posts that make him feel bad if he thinks he can get away with it. That's it. It's very simple. There's not going to be a big system that you can apply to predict which ones he's going to delete, because it's totally based on his whims. He has admitted this. He and his head mod have both said, "Well, just whatever. We'll just delete whatever we don't like. If we think you're unhinged, we'll delete it." Unhinged criticism isn't allowed. Or if it starts to get too anti-circle jerky, if there's too many posts that are criticizing me, I'll just delete some of them. We've had problems in the past of the community getting anti-circle jerky, or it becoming like a hate community against me. So if there's too much criticism, good faith, bad faith, whatever, he's just literally saying out loud, I have a tolerance level for how much criticism I will allow in my community, and I'll just ban it if it gets beyond that tolerance level. So
I guess for me, it just feels.
I don't understand why you're asking me to come up with some complex formula.
I'm not trying to ask anything.
You're asking me to come up with a formula that predicts when Steven will ban something, and then you're going to try to come up with an example of a time that didn't happen. But you're not really listening to my original claim, which is that Steven does not protect dissent. He does not protect his orbiters. When someone wins an argument with him, he does not protect that person from getting dogpiled by his community or by his own ego.
Okay.
He will allow that person to be thrown to the wolves. And if you start beating the wolves, he'll ban you. So now the subreddit is a fucking mrgirl hate sub with like hundreds of hate posts about me, and I can't even respond to them.
Okay. So I apologize for cutting you off. I keep on thinking that you're done, and I know that you take pauses to think about what you're going to say next. So apologies. So, I guess like if I can't get anything from you out in regards to the ban policy, or the fact that, to me, it just seems to me that if someone was trying to sanitize their perception to their own community, if they were trying to make sure that they never came off as incorrect or like bad faith or you know, inconsistent or some shit like that, it feels like they would try to nip the really well researched ones in the bud before they got popular.
You can't. No, because they would be very obvious they were doing that.
Okay, wait, hold on.
You can't
I've
nip.
been trying
You can't nip the good faith, well-researched ones in the bud.
I've been trying not
But
to.
I already said this. I don't want to listen to you say the
I'm-
same thing you already said that I already responded to.
I'm just laying out what my perception here is. All right.
I know what your perception is. You already said it twice.
Okay, what is my perception?
Your perception is that you're not going to listen to what I said, and you're going to instead use a formula that I just said I don't have. Your formula that you're trying to put into my mouth is Steven is going to try to suppress as much criticism of himself as possible. The way he is going to do this is by taking the most upvoted posts criticizing him and deleting them. However, he did not delete the post that has the most upvotes, so therefore this formula doesn't make sense. The reason your argument makes no sense is because that's not what I said. I didn't say
Okay,
that. I
so
already
that's
addressed
not
this, and
that.
I said it's
Okay,
not what I'm
really
saying.
quick. So you're not understanding what I'm trying to say. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is in the in the way that you're talking about Destiny deleting things, right? And the way that things make him feel. I don't know why someone like Destiny, whose entire online presence is predicated upon his credibility. You were talking about discrediting people earlier, right? His entire credibility is based off of him being very, very consistent, but willing to change his mind if presented with enough evidence to the contrary, right? I don't know why, if he really didn't want someone to attack his positions in a way that could substantially like change people's minds about how he's interacting with someone else, why he wouldn't go after the ones that really really prove that. That's the
Okay.
inconsistency that I'm trying
Did
to
you do
like
you remember?
understand.
Okay, I already said this, and I
Right, and you're
think you're not
saying
listening.
but
So I'm going
what
to answer you one more
I'm
time.
almost done, okay?
Okay.
Because what you're saying is that of course he can't get rid of all of the dissent, especially the ones that get massively
That's
uploaded, right? Is that not what you said?
he cannot delete a post that he doesn't have a justification for deleting without making himself look like he can't take feedback.
But you said earlier that they can just delete whenever they want for any reason, and
That is their
they can
moderation
basically,
policy, which
and
is a
they have
different
also
topic. The
no, no, no.
moderation policy is a different topic
How is that a
from
different
what will
topic?
make him. There's two topics you are now combining. One is what is the policy of the Reddit moderation, and the other is what will make Steven look like a crazy person. It is not optically tolerable to delete well-researched, good faith, and nicely written posts criticizing you that have 3,000 upvotes.
Unless you get
He,
rid of them before they have 3,000 upvotes, is what I'm trying to say. Why would he
that
get
will
rid of?
be caught on to and will be reported on, and he will be exposed if he does that. He cannot do that. That is not optically tolerable. His community will put up with a lot, but even they have a limit. And removing posts that are
As evidenced by the fact that there are posts critical of him in his own subreddit, right?
there's not a point of contention there, and I'm starting to feel like I shouldn't engage with you about this topic anymore because you're just saying the same things over and over again that I've already addressed, and I literally don't know how to talk to you about this. Like,
Okay. We can move on to a different topic.
your take is like this. You have the same take as Steven, so I know what you think about this.
I
I
think
feel
that
like
the reason that I have the same take as him isn't because I am trying to dick ride Steven or anything like that, or that I'm just trying to rehash his arguments. I largely operate with my community in the same way. I
okay,
largely give my moderators a lot of autonomy to ban people if they're being
okay,
annoying or if they're not
that's fine.
adding anything to the
That's fine.
conversation or
I'm not trying to say you shouldn't have his take. I'm just saying you do. I think I get it because I've been talking about it with him for a week and you're saying word for word all the same things that he's saying and defending every single thing he's saying. So I get your position. Is there something about my position that you don't understand?
um I think I understand it. I The problem that I have with the take is that if this is if you're assigning this intentionality to it,
I'm
that
not. I'm not.
okay, explain that because from what I'm getting from your words is that there is an intentionality that Destiny doesn't like the way this makes him feel, so he's going to get rid of it, and that suppresses dissent.
That may not be a conscious thought. It doesn't matter. I don't care what his intention is. I'm talking about the effect. Again, here is my stance. I will say it for one last time. My problem with Steven's moderation policy is that it doesn't protect me or his other orbiters. I think it's unethical the way that it is run.
Okay, the
It's not
orbiter
so it's
thing to
not
me
it
is
so it has nothing
completely separate topic,
well
which is what I was going to move to if you didn't want to talk about this one anymore. The reason I think
well
it's a
to
different
me they're the
topic.
same topic because the thing I'm complaining about with his Reddit moderation is that it makes it so that people who disagree with him cannot defend themselves while his community dogpiles them. I find this highly unpleasant and nigh intolerable, as does Lav, I'm pretty sure, and others should, maybe they don't, but I think it is wrong to do it to them anyway, even if they sign up for it. So notice the difference between me saying Stephen is not proactively protecting the people around him versus what you're putting in my mouth, which is Steven has nefarious, evil intentions. And if you can find anything that proves or that does not go with the intentions you're ascribing to him, then the whole thing must not be true. I'm
So,
saying
oh,
it's not that well thought out. He doesn't really have a plan. Obviously, if he's banning something and then unbanning it when he gets caught doing it or called out for doing it, it's not really a consistent policy. He's just kind of like doing stuff. My problem is not the intention behind the impulsive decisions he's making. My problem is the effect that it has on people.
okay. So
So
when I
it's what
say
he's
intent,
not doing, not what he is doing. He is not protecting dissent. He is not protecting orbiters. He's not protecting people who disagree with him.
is there any level of dissent that you think is so unuseful to being is in the community that you think that it should be banned?
No, and I think it is a totally immoral, reprehensible position to say, I'm going to befriend a Nazi in public, and there's a cap on how much dissent my community is allowed to show about this. Absolutely not. It's the definition of sanitizing and irresponsible platforming. He shouldn't be doing that. There's no cap on dissent in my community. Absolutely not.
Okay.
I lost like 20% of my income when I did my doll review with my girlfriend where I asked her to be my sex doll. My community was horrified by it. I had people writing super long
Yeah,
emails
I've
and
heard
posts.
about that. I haven't
Okay,
seen it,
so
but
I lost like 20% of my Patreon income for that. I probably could have squashed that if I just banned criticism of it. Then like it's not cool to say this stuff. It's not cool to say I abuse my girlfriend, guys. Of course it is. I'm showing you an intimate slice of my life. If you think I'm abusive or sexually abusive to my girlfriend, it is absolutely your right, and not even just your right, is your job to point that out. That's part of the point of the community and part of the point of the audience is so that I don't turn into a fucking egomaniac who's like raping my girlfriend and demanding that everybody say it's cool. Like, no, there's no cap on dissent in my community, and I don't think there should be one in any community where you're tackling controversial topics. Like, if you're like building remote control cars and your community starts like calling you like a stupid Jew or something, like, yeah, sure.
wait,
At
hold
some
on.
point,
There's something that one of the people that are defenders of you in Destiny subreddit is DMing me a whole bunch right now, and evidently the post that you're talking about right now was auto modded, and it was taken off of auto mod, and there was like proof posted.
no, we're talking about a different post. They're confused. You and I are talking about a post during the Nick Fuentes arguments that Steven himself removed. Told me he removed it because it annoyed him and that he was in a bad mood, and then put it back up when I pressed him on it.
Okay,
There was
there's a
another post that was auto
confusion in
modded.
DMs then.
Okay, there was
Gotcha.
another post that was auto modded. Somebody asked me, "Did you delete this or did a mod?" And I said a mod did. But I didn't understand that it was auto modded, and I didn't understand. I just was choosing between the two choices they gave me. I did not have proof that a mod deleted it, and I didn't understand that they had an auto mod that could delete a post after it already had like 1,000 upvotes.
Gotcha. Okay,
That was a
so
different post though.
yeah,
The one
different
we're
post.
talking about, yeah.
Understood. Okay, so yeah, I think that when it comes
So
to
no,
this,
the
I
answer is
think
no. There's no limit to dissent in my community, and I don't think there should be in a community that talks about politics or other controversial topics.
okay. So I guess like me and Destiny are going to align on this one. I think that when things are so fucking like unhinged, now there's going to be different levels for that, obviously. And I because I have a smaller community, I have a larger tolerance than maybe a subreddit that gets a couple of dozen to like 100+ posts per day. I have more tolerance for it than maybe the mods of Destiny subreddit. But it there does uh become a point where someone's just doing annoying shit or attacking me in a way that is completely not useful for me to take from their criticism, no matter how vitriolic it is. You can usually get some amount of truth out of criticism from people that fucking hate you, right? But at a certain point, it's just someone saying, Sonsol's a fucking loser. He's a fucking faggot, fucking piece of shit. All he does is fucking shill for the New World Order, whatever fucking groiper shit people have done to me in the past, right? And at a certain point, it's like, yeah, it's time to ban this person. They're not adding anything to the conversation. They're not making anybody want to engage in my Discord. They're actually disincentivizing people from engaging in my Discord. And because of that, we're going to ban this person. Not not
Well, I
because
think you're
they're
sneaky. You're sneaking in a few things there. You're implying they're
how
not
so.
really part of. You're implying they're not really part of your community. You're implying that they're going to use slurs. You're implying that they're going to make posts that are completely devoid of like genuine criticism, which just doesn't apply here.
Well,
Like I don't even.
to be
I don't
clear, I'm
even.
not trying to
I don't
sneak
take it
those
as far as
feelings
you
in.
do. Like people
Oh,
in
go
my
ahead.
community are welcome to make posts that, as long as they don't break TOS, they can insult me for whatever they want, and they can insult me for as long as they want, as much as they want. I mean, I guess there's a spam limit, but like generally, there is no limit to the amount of dissent I'll take. But what you're describing, it's like fine, yeah,
Uh,
sure, I can understand deleting that kind of criticism, but that's
Well,
not what we're talking
just to
about.
be ultra clear, like
We're talking about
I
deleting
can't.
criticism that when you point it out and you catch him on it, he's like, yeah, I guess I should. He doesn't even agree with his own moderation.
Well, there's
So
been
I don't know
times
how
where
you
that's
can
happened to me where people like message me and they're like, "Why did I get
Okay,
banned
so
from the
then I don't
Discord?"
know why you're defending something he doesn't even agree he should have
Well,
done.
I'm defending the idea that people can be modded for any reason because it's like if it were my Discord, it would be
Do you
my
think it's
fucking
okay to
Discord.
kick all the black people out of your community?
No,
Okay, so you don't really believe they can be modded for any reason. So let's get into the
you
specific
said
reason.
my
And
community.
do you think Steven should ban all black people from his community?
Probably not, but on
Okay,
moral
great. I agree.
grounds, I
I think
either there's
I
two
agree with
positions
you.
here.
I agree
I
with
think
you.
that
I
well, hold
agree
on,
with you.
let me
But
finish
stop.
because
No,
no,
I
because there's
don't want
two
to hear the
things.
rest of
No,
this.
because there's
No,
two
it doesn't
parts to
matter.
it.
The rest,
Why?
there's no,
Why?
because it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter.
That
You
on one
just
hand
don't.
he
You
has the
said something that
ability
you
to.
didn't mean.
There's no. There's
You said it's okay for Steven to ban anyone he wants from his community for any reason. It's not true.
I
You
would
don't really
disagree
believe
with
that.
it. He can if he wants to.
Yes, I understand the fucking button on the website will work. What we're talking about is the morality. It is unethical for Steven to ban people from his community for certain reasons. The question is, does this count as that? And in the way you're defending it doesn't make any sense because you're just using straw men that are nothing close to what is actually happening.
Okay, so I'm not trying to strawman when I gave my impression of what someone schizo posting in my Discord was. I didn't think out a whole, Sondsol critique post about like this past debate or anything like
Well,
that.
then don't bring it up because again, we're talking about posts that Steven himself undeleted because he didn't agree with his own moderating, which means that he is making impulsive modding decisions that he doesn't even find defensible. And I agree, they're not defensible. I don't find it defensible either. And um he's now not he's banning people just for being fans of me.
At this point, yes. That's why I
Right.
specifically
So
said, well,
again,
hold on. That's
that
why I
doesn't make any
specifically
sense.
said before you declared war. Because everything after you declare war, when there's going to be people that either raid into his subreddit because of the
Ran
war,
from where? All of my fans are already in his subreddit. They didn't run from
people
anywhere.
that are trying to defend you who are going to like go in
I don't
and
have any fans that are not already his fans.
that doesn't matter. What if they're fans of his and fans of yours and they're taking your
Then
side in this?
describing them as running in like brigading. I have maybe one uh
DGG
1%.
Civil War. How about that?
It's not a civil war. I am maybe my fans maybe make up 1% of his fans. And I maybe 10% of my fans don't overlap with his fans. Most of my fans are just his fans, and my community is maybe 1% of the size as his. So just the idea of that my fans are running in doesn't make any sense.
Okay. I hardcore disagree with that, but we're never going to agree
How?
with that. Okay. The reason why is because if there are going to be people that are going to take your side in something and then you declare war and they're going to come in and post like
Come in from where?
uh,
I
from
don't
their
have a
fucking
community.
computer,
I don't have a fan base outside of his.
it doesn't need to be
Well,
separate from his
for you to
community.
say, okay, so when you say come in, you mean come in to DGG from DGG? You said
Sure.
run into his community. So
To
when you say
run
run
into
into
specifically to run into the subreddit, which not everyone engages with. In fact, like this has been the most time that I've ever spent
okay, so
on
when you
Reddit
say
trying to
when you
find
say run into his subreddit, you mean fans of Steven who already engage with his material
that disagree
because we're
with him on
talking about
this.
his sub that
That
disagree
would
with him on this
otherwise
are
not have gone into the subreddit to
okay.
defend
So
you.
I just
Went
want to be
in there
clear. You're
probably.
talking well, Alex. So when you said run in, you didn't mean my community was brigading his. You meant his own community of people who don't use Reddit are now going to start using Reddit because we're talking about it. Okay,
Do you
fine.
disagree that that would happen?
I disagreed that that is what you meant when you first said it,
That's
but
literally what I meant.
okay.
Because I recognize, in the same way that a lot of my audience comes from DGG, a lot of my audience is like inextricably tied to Destiny's fucking streaming career, right?
Yeah.
If I disagreed with Destiny and I said I was going to war, and a lot of fucking DGGers came into my Discord, even though I share a large overlap with his community, doesn't mean that those people aren't coming into my Discord or coming into like whatever to like
Well, you
attack.
reverse the
Or
role. You
yeah, and I
reverse
was
the
just
role
yeah, and I
so that
realized
doesn't
that,
make
and I
yes,
realized
but
that,
that
and I was
doesn't
about to say
okay,
the
but that
opposite.
doesn't make any
And I was about to
sense.
say the opposite. That in the same vein, that
You
if
think
I that
you could
no,
brigade his
because I'm a tiny
subreddit?
fucking streamer. But if me
Me
and him,
too. I'm also a tiny streamer.
you have a significantly larger platform, even though you've been banned, you still have a larger
And yet
platform, and
compared to Steven, we're basically both the same
yeah, which is
size.
why I'm comparing me and you.
Okay, then you
Right?
shouldn't be adjusting the
If we
analogy.
compared the two of us to XQC, yeah, we're both fucking like an atom in a fucking sea of fucking streamers. But that's not what we're
Yeah.
talking about. We're talking about me in relation to you, right? So if me in relation to you is a very small person, and I was able to get into a big conflict or several conflicts with Destiny over the course of several months, and then I said that I'm going to war with DGG, and there were some people in Destiny's community that were not, regular Reddit users, or maybe they were regular Reddit users, and they still agreed with me, and they all started posting all at once in response to me saying I declare war on Destiny.gg or r/DGG or whatever the fuck it is, right? Do you not recognize that that would be the same thing as getting your community to do that?
It's not the same thing. No, I don't recognize that. They're different.
I feel like it's a distinction without difference, but at this point,
Well, it's not okay. Well, here, can I make the distinction?
sure.
Okay. Destiny allows you to rent out part of his audience. When Destiny is not working or Destiny is sleeping, you're allowed to use his audience as long as you talk about similar stuff to him or talk about him or talk like him. As long as you're like a worse version of him, then you will rent out his audience and they will come and they will give you a little money and some of them will watch your streams and you can maybe make enough to live off of. But they will be his fans and they will show allegiance to him. If you become their favorite streamer and they are willing to take your side in a big fight, then he does not want them in the community anymore. And he does not want you in the community anymore, converting more people to being your fans away from being his fans. And he will give you the boot.
This is the most depressing way to think about being in a larger streaming community that I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, we're whores. Steven is the pimp and we're the whores. And we're allowed to work your block. But if you expand too much, you start getting too popular, then there's conflict. And we've seen it with Vaush, we've seen it with Hassan. The conflict usually gets ugly, usually involves betrayal, people stabbing each other, people trying to fuck each other over.
What about the other orbiters that have never had that happen?
Like who?
Like
You name the orbiter.
Dan, Mr. Mooten, Mr. Mooten's wife before or I'm sorry, they're not married yet.
Dan and Mr. Mooten work for well, first of all, Dan isn't really trying to be a streamer. Like he is a little bit, but he's not. He's like just kind of like hanging out, and he's like friends with Steven. Also, Dan is like, Dan's different. Dan's not an orbiter.
Dan is absolutely an orbiter. Okay, I think even Dan says that he's an orbiter. But
sure, he might say it, but like they're friends. They go out to dinner. They hang out in real life. Like they're
yeah,
just
and Destiny has
friends.
hung out with other orbiters and gone to dinner with. Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't consider Dan an orbiter. Dan is not dependent
Okay,
on
then
Steven
let's
for
say
anything.
let's not say
And Dan probably has more money than all of us combined. And Dan is not an orbiter.
Okay, so let's leave Dan out of it. We still have Mr. Mooten. We have whatever his fiance's name
works
is.
for Steven. Mr. Mooten is like a.
At this point, he does.
Yeah, so different. That's not the same thing. That's not what I'm. That's not.
Okay,
he doesn't have the same share. He doesn't have the same.
Scrub King, Stardust, fucking
Stardust. Okay, let's stay with Stardust. Do you think Stardust is a threat to Steven with her content?
Is the Scrub King a threat?
I don't know. I don't know. I never heard of him, so probably not.
Rage Pope.
Do you think Stardust
Econo
is a threat
Boy.
to? Do you think Econo Boy is a threat to Steven?
I mean, if they get into an argument and Destiny is losing on an economic argument, then yeah, he would be a threat to Steven.
Okay. My point is that the people you're talking about are not going through rapid growth and are not like I'm like a cancer inside DGG.
So what is
Mr.
the
Girl,
standard that we're talking about? Is it
Miss,
growth potential or rate of growth, or
I
what
think
is
it's
the...
both. It's both. I'm a
Okay, so it's not
malignant I'm a
orbiters, it's
malignant tumor.
orbiters who
I'm
grow
a
too fast.
metastasizing malignant tumor. It's not just that I'm growing fast. It's that I'm growing in a way that contradicts his like ethics and what he is saying, and that I like it wouldn't make sense to ban all Econo Boy fans from your subreddit. Like I like Econo Boy, but
Yeah, he's a chill
he,
dude.
he he's a chill dude, exactly. But it's not like you don't hear an Econo Boy fan and you're like, oh, I know what that person's like. When you hear a Mr. Girl fan, you know what you know that there's like a specific acquired taste that we're talking about.
Okay, what about someone like Irrelevant? What about someone like Chud Logic?
Irrelevant and Chud Logic are growing, and but
I mean, Chud Logic's been growing very fast, especially on YouTube. How is he not?
yeah, he doesn't really fight with Steven.
But he has in the past.
A little bit, but there isn't really a sense of like, who are you going to choose?
Do you think that the difference between them and you is that it seems like you're making it to where people are having to choose because of the boundaries that
I,
you're setting up?
no, I don't think so. I think it started with it really started explicitly with Fuentes, where I was like, I think you're doing the wrong thing here, and then people kind of had to decide, is he doing the wrong thing or not? And they had to choose then. I don't think they had to choose between who they're going to be fans of then, but if you start banning people who disagree with you, then I guess they do. I'm fine with my fans thinking that I'm wrong. I'm fine with my fans liking Steven more than they like me. I'm fine with my fans thinking I lose every debate. I have tons of people like that. I just don't have the same relationship with my audience that Steven does. I'm never going to ban somebody for calling me like a retard or something. I've never done that.
I
So
guess,
anyway, you can
yeah,
find it depressing, but that's what I'm saying. We're whores and he's the pimp, and you're allowed to work the block. But if you expand too much,
but
too
I feel like
fast,
you're the
or you
only
expand,
person that
no,
feels
Vosh and
hold
Hassan
on,
both clearly felt the same way.
that they were whores for Destiny.
Yeah, and at a certain point, they're like, "Look, I don't want to be your little fucking sidekick anymore."
That's absolutely not what happened with either of those people.
I think it is.
Based off of what?
My knowledge of the situation, the things they said, the
Right.
things they
That's why
did,
I'm
the way
asking
it
you for
unfolded.
like you don't need like a specific quote, just like literally anything.
Well, with Vosh, I think it. I watched a stream where Stephen read Vosh's abuse allegations
Yeah.
gleefully, and Vosh tried to join, and then Stephen kicked him and wouldn't let him defend himself.
Okay. So the
So
that
that's the
video.
type of shit I'm talking
Okay,
about.
hold on, really quick.
Yeah.
First off, that happened well before Vosh even had his own platform. Number two, Destiny.
Wait. Vosh
Wait,
didn't. Vosh wasn't streaming then.
no, this was before he was streaming.
He did not have any streaming account anywhere on any streaming site.
He probably had a Twitch account, but I don't know if he was like a full-time streamer at that point. No.
But he was streaming.
I don't think so. I think this was before he started streaming. And then after that, he was unbanned after like 3 months. And then after that, because he started streaming, this goes contrary to your idea that Destiny doesn't take care of his orbiters. Destiny took down the video of him arguing with Vaush about the allegations.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't say Destiny doesn't take care of his orbiters. I said he does it in a way.
You absolutely said that. You say
Really?
he doesn't. Yes.
You gotta. Okay. Do you want to go back and find the quote of me saying that?
I mean, if you want to like
I
sit
said
here for the
Destiny
next
is
10 minutes,
I said Destiny is a pimp, and we are his whores, and that if you get too big, eventually things get really tense, and then there's a big falling out.
But the falling out wasn't over them feeling like they were being whored out. It was them falling out because of actions that they took against Destiny that were unbelievably unfounded.
Okay, well, so what did Vaush do that was unbelievably unfounded?
He continued to argue with Destiny about things, and when he realized
Like,
he
give me a specific example.
so there was the time that he said that the uh just fuck I can't remember which Supreme Court justice. He said that one Supreme Court justice and George Bush were fascist. And then Destiny jumped onto the Prime Kai panel and they argued about it, and Vosh was not able to substantiate that they were fascists. They were neocons but not fascists. And then after that, Vosh said that he was never engaging with Destiny again because he's a bad faith actor.
Okay, so I believe that, well, that may be what Vaush said. He probably was trying to get out from being in Steven's shadow.
Based off of what though? Based off of literally anything. And I will like if you have anything that I'll concede. But I
This is
was
just
there
my
throughout that.
read on the situation.
Okay. I was there throughout that entire situation, right? Where I was both a Vosh and a Destiny
I
orbiter.
disagree with you about what's going on.
Wait, hold on. Really quick.
You're not going to be able to convince me that I don't think this, because I don't think this based on anybody saying it. Nobody says things like, man,
or based off
really
of anything that anyone has said, or based
nobody
off of
nobody says things like, man, I'm getting really threatened by how big you're growing. I guess I'm going to try to put a glass ceiling on your career so you're not a threat to me. Nobody says, hey man, I'm getting threatened because I don't want to be your sidekick. I want to go off and strike out on my own and destroy our friendship in the process. That's not how people talk. They don't say things like that. So when I say that I think that's what's happening, I'm not saying I think that's what anybody has said is happening. That's what I think is actually happening. That is my read of the situation.
Okay.
So it can't
But
really
your
be
read of the
contradicted.
but your read of the situation,
Yeah.
by your own admission, is based off of how you think it happened, but you haven't gone through or like been active in the community while all of that was going down.
That's true.
Okay. I was part of the community when that went down. I was part of both Vaush
I have
wait,
no
hold on, really
doubt
quick.
that even with
I
all the
just
same information, you and I are probably going to still have different perceptions of what's happening. Because I think again, like when I say Steven's a pimp and we're all
there
his
is just
whores,
no way that because I think that I think you are way too intelligent to hold on to a position like that has no way to be grounded in any kind of any kind of evidence, any kind of fact of the matter, any kind of moral statements. Or I don't even know how you would even begin to approach saying that Vosh was trying to get out from Destiny's shadow and then immediately like lost all of his growth because uh, because why?
ego. I don't know. Why
No,
am I doing it?
it is absolutely ego
The
on
same.
Vosh's. No, hold on, really quick. You're super right. It was ego, but it wasn't because he was a orbiter of Destiny. Because at that point, when they fell out, they were not orbiters of each other. Vosh was a very, very large streamer. For a long time, he had a larger YouTube channel than even Destiny did. It wasn't
Yeah,
until
I know.
Destiny got banned from Twitch that Destiny was even able to catch up to him or surpass him. And
I
so
understand
the
that. I
idea that he was
understand. I
trying to get out
understand.
from Destiny's shadow, rather than the fact that he got blown the fuck out on so many debates that he was starting to lose subs because he couldn't substantiate anything that he said. So for him, the optics and
Dude,
the credibility.
You're just saying the DGG narrative.
No, this isn't the DGG narrative because I was a Vosh fan at that point.
Does DGG agree with everything you're saying? That's why I'm calling it the DGG narrative. That's what they think happened. I understand what they think happened. I understand what Vosh thinks happened.
If I was talking to a flat earther right now and they said the same thing
I'm saying
to me
let me finish my
that
sentence.
you said, that
let me finish my
well,
let me
you're
finish
only
my
going
sentence.
with what everybody
I would
tells
like to
you.
finish. I would like to finish my sentence.
The globeheads.
I understand what DGG thinks. I understand what Vosh thinks. I get it. I get their perspectives on one person is egotistical and can't stand being wrong. One person is a snake and backstabber. I know. I understand. I get what everybody thinks about the situation. I'm saying if you kind of take a step back and look at it systemically, I think that what's another way to look at what's happening, not like a more real way, but just the way I look at it, is that the way Stephen runs things is not very tolerant of another streamer getting huge beneath him or beside him. And if those two people have big egos, then it's going to be hard for them to work together at that point.
Except for all the people that have grown while being Orbiters of Destiny, that have seen meteoric rises, that have seen massive positive growth from Destiny and disagreed with him on things and all of that shit. Irrelevant and Chud Logic being like prime examples of this.
Yeah, Irrelevant and Chud Logic are not stealing chunks of his audience away the way Vaush did in Hassan. Vaush and Hassan drew political divisions in Destiny's community and made it so that if you're not leftist enough, or you're not, then you're either with us or against us. And it became very clear that there was an appetite for a further left streamer, and they both filled that void. Chud Logic and Irrelevant are not defining themselves against Steven, or they're not drawing a line and saying, like, here's how I'm different from Steven. They don't do that. They could, but they don't. And they're just not that big. They both have, like, I don't know, 300 to 500 viewers.
That's about the size that Vaush was when he was first started his massive campaign against Destiny.
Yeah, I think if Chud Logic started a massive campaign against Destiny and it got any traction, then he may find his fans banned from Destiny's community. I don't know.
But based off of like nothing. And also, like,
Okay.
what about like Hassan? Do you think that Hassan and Destiny split up because Hassan was tired of being defined by his relationship with Destiny?
Yeah, I think Hassan has an even bigger ego than Vaush or Destiny. So yeah, I think nobody wants to be somebody's fucking retarded sidekick, and that is part of my problem.
Do you
with,
know why Destiny and Hassan
yeah, I'm allowed to
broke
come
up?
on. I'm allowed to go on Destiny's stream as much as I want, as long as I'm his retarded sidekick. And it's like I don't want to. And part of the way I'm getting defined as this retarded sidekick is the moderation decisions, and so I need him to change. It ain't that complicated.
Okay, but you're basing this off of previous people who have split with Destiny's community for reasons that you think are similar. However, you're not really backing that up with anything that would show that they were at all similar. Yours is very, very unique, which is the only reason that
the only thing that's unique about mine is that I'm saying what I think is actually happening underneath the surface, and the other two were fighting about surface shit.
Contrary to all evidence to the contrary.
I guess.
Okay. Well, as long as we have that, we can move on to how Destiny should.
Well, everything is contrary to all evidence to the contrary, so it's kind of hard to disagree with that statement since it is tautologically true.
The statement,
it doesn't contrary to all evidence to the contrary doesn't mean anything as a statement. So I will readily agree to it because it is.
Okay, how about
it
this?
Must be true in all situations about all topics.
Despite all evidence to the contrary, how does that work? Because you haven't been able to like actually explain to me why Vaush and Destiny split up, even though I was like a part of the community. I was a streamer at that time. I covered the entire thing from the beginning and the end. All right. I was both a fan of Vaush and
yes,
of
I understand.
Destiny,
I'm not describing the play-by. I'm not describing the play-by-play of the surface level things that were said and
only
happened. I'm
psychoanalyzing them for why they decided to split from Destiny.
Yes, this is a psychological analysis of what is happening in Steven's community.
And then I would
That's
ask
why I'm saying when I say he is a pimp and you are a whore, I am making a psychological statement about your relationship and how you both feel about each other. I'm not saying that literally you're a whore or literally he's your pimp. I'm saying this is what I see when I look at the system. I see a system of orbiters under his thumb and being his little bitches. And I'm willing to be his little bitch to a certain point, and I have been. And I enjoy being Steven's little bitch. To be honest, I love Steven, and I love working with Steven. But at a certain point, once I'm banned from his subreddit, and all of my fans are banned from his subreddit, it starts to become untenable for me to just get dogpiled as a abusive, manipulative moron and not be able to defend myself. And I don't want to be treated like that anymore, and so I'm demanding that things change. But yes, this is not a surface level assessment of, oh, in this stream he said this, and then Vaush did this, and then Hassan did that. That's not what I'm talking about. I understand there is a surface level narrative. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a deeper psychological narrative of people of John Lennon and Paul McCartney, people who are too egotistical to be able to work together and grow together. They start feeling threatened. Audiences start shifting tides, splitting, changing ways. And there's some streamers are not like this. Some streamers can handle shit like that, and some streamers can't. And I think that Vaush, Hassan,
If it was the
and
case
Steven
that
are all
he felt
streamers who
threatened by
can't.
you and he didn't want to lose any of his audience to you, why would he continue to allow you to have permissions in his Discord to where you could hop into his call at any time that he wasn't talking about a completely separate issue?
Um, I think that he can manage me on stream in a way that he can't manage me in the subreddit. But I also think he likes me. I also think he likes working with me. Again, this is not like I'm not saying that this is like um a simple um monolithic like thought or stance he has. I'm saying that I just see similarities between the bigger I get, the more conflict there is between us. The bigger I get, the more I feel like he's talking shit. He's saying meaner stuff about me than he said 6 months ago, for sure. He's cutting me down more, and he's banned me from his subreddit. And so it just seems like the
And even by
bigger.
his own
I'm
admission, he's going
I'm
to. Oh,
fucking banned. I
sorry.
mean, I'm banned. I'm banned from YouTube and Twitch, so I'm not that much of a threat. But the bigger I get, the less and the more I push back on him, the less I can speak, the less power over the narrative I get. And on stream, he can tell me to shut up. He can interrupt me. He can mute me. He can end the conversation wherever he wants. He has a lot of power on stream. But when I get to write something on my own, uninterrupted, and make it, my post as long and as detailed as I want, that's a different kind of power. That's why I want the power, and that's why he doesn't want me to have it, because there's a way I can be a thorn in his side with that I just can't do on stream.
Has he ever just hung up on you because you were winning a conversation too much?
Again, when people, if he were to do that, I don't think he would announce that. I think it would be more like he would say something like, "Okay, buddy, well, anything else?"
Do you feel as if that's happened?
I don't know. It doesn't. But again, I feel like you're not really accepting the premise that like these are subtle and unconscious reads on what's happening. So there's not going to be a way to
I would
prove
be
that this.
I'll say this. I would accept it if because the reason that you're saying that there are subtle and unconscious patterns that he's exhibiting, right? But the only person that you're saying that this is that you have any kind of like proof as to like how he's doing this is with you. With everybody else, it's just how you have a read of the situation, even though you don't seem to understand how those situations played out. Like I would
The
100% like
surface
change my
the
no.
surface level of how they played out doesn't really matter to me. I don't care. That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, if it wasn't the surface level, then at least there would be some way for you to like tell me like, oh, this person acted in this way, so therefore I can inductively reason that this person is feeling threatened or no longer wants to put up with being just a pawn of destinies, a whore of destinies, a filthy little slut for content
Yeah.
that constantly begs for just the scrap of attention from his community. Uh, if you could like give me like anything, like even like
I
a
don't understand what you're
general
asking.
idea.
Can you? What are you
Yeah,
asking me?
yeah. So what I'm asking is, if you have a read on the situation
Yeah.
that happened, you would be able to tell me like one conversation that they had like that, or one monologue that Vosh went off on, or something that Hassan has said, even if it was just a uh, like a paraphrasing of what they said. I would be able to.
No, I don't have. I don't have that. I've met both of them. I mean, I know Steven pretty well, and I've met Vosh, and my sense is like, oh, I see why they had a falling out. I mean, I watched their streams where they were talking about why they fell out. I understand the like mowing down dipshit protesters thing, but like that just seems like kind of bullshit to me. I just don't buy it.
Okay. Well, I guess like if if you can I mean, I'll make a public apology to you, and I'll make a whole video where I say that I was wrong. If you can ever send me anything that would ever point towards that being even
Nothing will
the
ever point towards it. It's not the kind of thing I'm talking about. You don't understand. Okay, so after this conversation, I talked to my girlfriend about this conversation, and she's gonna say, "Oh, how'd it go?" Or maybe she's listening to it. I'm gonna say, "Well, yep, he's completely bought into the narrative of DGG, and he is scared to oppose it in public, and he feels very threatened. This guy is like one of those white blood cells I was talking about, where the system is being threatened, and he is going to rush to try to prove his allegiance to Steven and rush to uphold the narrative and discredit me in any way possible." Now, there's nothing you said that indicates that that's what you're doing. You've never said you're doing that, and you never will say you're doing that. There will never be a shred of evidence that that is what is happening. It is a systemic psychological read of the situation. And when I say that, Shaylin is going to say, "Yeah, totally." And we're not going to argue about it because she's not going to be in your position of like, prove it. Show him what thing did he say that makes you think he's like a white blood cell attack? That's not how fucking people work. They don't work or speak like that. So if you don't like want to hear my like
I
reads
understand
on the situation,
exactly.
that's fine.
Just to be
But there's
ultra clear, I
yeah,
1,000,000% understand what you're saying, right? That
okay.
there are reads that you can get off of people, even though they don't explicitly say something, that you can kind of understand why they're actually saying it, right?
Yeah, so this is my systemic view of what's happening is that the way Steven runs his community is not tolerant of somebody really genuinely pushing back on him and growing at the same time. However, I also think he's really bored of people who can't push back on him. So I think in one sense, he really values my ability to push back on him and like cut through some of his bullshit. But on the other sense, I think he also doesn't like it. So I think he loves me on one hand. On the other hand, I'm a thorn in his side. On the other hand, I think he does genuinely think that I'm bad faith sometimes, or that I'm manipulative, or that I'm just disruptive to the community in a way that he just really. I don't think his criticisms of me are all bad faith. I think there's some things about me that he just genuinely doesn't like, and I think it's all a big mess, and it's all coming to a big conflict. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to ask him for, and what I think is reasonable to ask him for, and how I want to express that to him.
Okay. I don't think you understood what I asked. I understand everything that you're saying. And
Okay.
I would 100% again agree that yes, like they're never going to explicitly say it, or they're never going to like there's not going to be like a hint of something, but again, because we are human beings and we understand social cues and we understand that people can be hurting and, find their own reasons to try and break contact with someone, right? You can always get some kind of idea as to what they're actually thinking, right? Which is why I would ask, like, what brought you to that conclusion, right? And then the second thing that I would ask would be, what could possibly change your mind off of that read? Like, would it be like, uh, if you saw like DMs in private of
No.
Vaush talking to like his
No. No.
girlfriend?
No. No.
No,
No. That's not how like a systemic read works. That's like asking me what could change my mind that race was a motivating factor in George Floyd's killing. Like, I think it's a racially charged situation. Nobody said anything about his race. Chauvin didn't call him the N-word. There's no proof of that, but it's just how I see the situation. It's not even like I'm not even saying like a read of like what people are secretly thinking. It's just how I view the situation.
I I don't think you agree with what you just said, because
I
when we
do.
well, hold on, because when it comes to systemic racism, we can absolutely point towards a whole bunch of things surrounding it. If we, like, imagine like the actual topic at hand is a black hole, right? With
No, no.
system, well, hold on,
What
really quick. Let me
evidence?
let me
What?
just
No, no.
finish.
I'm not talking about systemic racism. I'm talking about George Floyd's death.
Right, in the systemic read on the situation that would lead people to say that it was a racist killing. Yes,
Yeah, but there's no evidence of that.
right. But I can absolutely like lay out all of the evidence that we could look at that would get us to that point of inductive reasoning, right? So like with
No, I
yeah,
think at a certain
well, I
point,
can
you
lay
would.
it out
I mean,
right
you
now if you want me to, and I can like tell you
no,
why.
because there's
Why don't you want me to tell you? Because I can
because
do it. Because I think that we can look at
you're
all
making a
these.
false equivalence.
You're the one that made the equivalence in the first place.
The false equivalence you're making is um that I'm saying something about the conscious mind state. I don't think Derek Chauvin thought about George Floyd's race. I'm not making that claim. And I'm not claiming that Vaush thought, like, oh, I'm getting too big for blah, 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 or that Stephen was like, oh, I'm starting to feel threatened. None of these people were thinking any of these things. I'm just saying that's how I see what happened.
Right. And you said it was a systemic impression that you got from all of these different situations, right? Which is why
I'm saying it is my impression of how the system functions, not how the people in the system are thinking.
exactly it's the entire point of like a systemic understanding of something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's why I'm trying to say the entire reason that we would even begin to think that there was a racial component to George Floyd's death is because there are all of these systemic critiques, all of these different data points that people can point towards that would say, look, black people are overrepresented in this kind of arrest, right? Black people are overrepresented in, like violent police interactions.
Oh, well,
Like,
sure. I mean, if you're taking outside situations as evidence, then I think it's a story as
that's
old as
exactly what we're
time.
doing with this entire
Okay, then I think
conversation.
then John Lennon and Paul McCartney.
Okay.
You're
Wait, I'm sorry.
two
Can you,
people,
yeah?
two people. The Beatles broke up because two people with big egos could not handle working together and loving each other. I
What?
think there was a love affair between Stephen and Vosh, somewhat between Stephen and Hassan, between Stephen and me, and it feels like a familiar pattern of like,
Again, so first off, the
yeah.
Beatles broke up not because John and Paul were having like a disagreement necessarily, but because Ringo quit first. Okay, Ringo was the first Beatle to quit. So just like historically, factually incorrect there. Ding zinger, I win the debate. But
I
on a more
think the fact
serious
that you,
note,
the
on a
fact
more
that you're still
serious note,
saying the fact that you're saying that makes me think you don't understand what I'm
no, no,
saying
no,
again.
hold on. I'm sorry, I
I
was
don't
making
think
a joke.
anybody's.
I'm
I know,
sorry.
but the joke also shows that you don't get what I'm saying.
No, I do. Right, but
Okay,
the fact of
I have
all
to
the
go in 2 minutes.
okay, I was just gonna say, like the fact
Yeah.
that you're like comparing the different fallouts of different communities with Destiny, like Hassan and Vosh, as if they have anything to do with each other, or that the reasons were at all the same, is unbelievable, right? Like Destiny didn't want to burn a bridge with Hassan, right? Destiny did not choose that.
I don't think he wants to burn a bridge with me either.
I The reason that the Hassan and
But
Destiny split
the
was so
things he is
sad
doing
to
are
even Destiny was because they were very close personal friends, IRL. They hung out on a regular basis, from what I understand. And then Hassan like started going after Destiny and then tried to make everybody think that he hates fucking black people.
yeah. Well, I'm not going to do that.
Well, yeah,
So
obviously, I don't think that you're doing that, but
I would sacrifice our professional relationship to save our personal relationship. And if it means that I can't stream with Steven, if that's the only way for me to feel like he's treating me well and for me to feel like respected by him in our friendship, then fine. I would rather be friends with Steven than have access to his platform.
gotcha. Okay. Well, if you have to go, just as a end cap to this debate, um, conversation, whatever. Um, my general impression of you hasn't really changed. I I think that you're a very smart person. I think that you're a very difficult person to talk to, not in like a negative way, but in a you're very skilled rhetoric in like a rhetoric sense. And so I prepared probably too much for this conversation. I have way more links that we never got to. But
Well,
it went
if you
well.
want to follow up sometime, we can do that. I'm
Well,
happy
yeah,
to.
I was gonna float that, but I just wanted to say, like, I don't think that you're trying to do this for nefarious reasons. I don't think that you're trying to bring Destiny down, and I hope you don't think that that was the implication that I was giving.
No, I mean,
But
no, I'm definitely just trying to just stand up for myself, and I'm not sure how to do that.
sure, I think that what I would ask of you before we revisit this is, and again, I'll change my mind and I'll fucking take a giant L in front of all of DGG if you have this for me, right? But like anything that gave you like even an impression that
No, there isn't. There isn't going to be anything.
Okay. Well, that was one thing. And then, yeah, if you want to revisit it at some time, you have my Twitter. We're friends on Discord. You can always shoot me a message.
Okay, you too.
All right. Catch you later, buddy.
All right, catch you later.
Jesus, that was really fucking difficult. Holy fuck. I don't, I don't know how he, I just don't understand how the fuck he arrives at his conclusions. Maybe I should have sat through and watched way more of the drama. But fuck me. Maybe there's something I fucking missed, but that was fucking crazy. Um, Pretty curious. What a shit show. True. Um, Thoughts, concerns. I feel like at the beginning, we're like, he was a lot rhetorically stronger than me because we were talking about evidence that neither of us could put forward, but that he could try to like tear down, and that was really difficult. But it was impossible. Like it was an unfalsifiable fucking claim that he made. You know, he's literally just an anti-fan, but he's not. I don't think that he's an anti-fan. I think that he feels like people being mean to him on fucking DGG equals him being uh unfairly maligned in a way, and we didn't get to that point, and that's what I was trying to eventually get to, but we didn't have enough time to get to that point about like the unfairly maligned part. um but I think that he has a genuine feeling that there's a an unconscious move on Destiny's side to burn bridges with people or to unfairly attack them or to silence them if they're growing too fast. And I just don't ever, I've never seen something like that, you know? Um, every Mr. Girl argument literally comes down to something you can't disprove. He has no ability to discuss. No, I disagree. I've heard conversations where he's been very able to talk about that, talk about different things. Um, for saying how you feel about him while he's not there. Well, again, like I told him that I would talk to him, and I feel like I've said a lot of the same things to him in person. But again, like if you are listening, Max, like again, I've like this is all the stuff that I was saying to you in the conversation. Unless there's something that I'm being more aggressive with now that you can call me out on, and call me out on it if you want. I'm gonna see if my camera works now, or if it freezes stream. Let's see here. Let's hide Snake Soul. Let's fucking go. Stream freezing? Oh, look at that. Fucking based. Love that for myself. Cool. Okay. Well, we're back to Snake Soul. Anyways. I'm Watsaku. Guess what? We'll add you as a moderator. How's it going? Do you mind if I hop in chat? Sure. Jump into my Discord. Also, if you're watching me, like the stream. And also, if you're feeling so moved by my words, please subscribe to my YouTube. That would be really fucking awesome of you. I would really love that. But yeah, Watsaku, just jump into the into my Discord. Hey, I was wrong about my schedule. If you had more you want to talk about for another 15 to 20 minutes. Sure. Okay, back with Mr. Girl. Okay, I'm here. Hello?
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, sorry, I was confused about my schedule, but I can talk for like 15 or 20 more minutes.
Sure. So yeah, I guess like when we let me look at my notes here.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, DGG is being fucking stupid.
Don't say that about them.
Trust me, they've trashed me too. for different reasons, though.
Oh, I'm sure they have. They trash everybody.
Okay, on a more tangential note to like just like online communities. Let's take like a one step back away from Steven's community and let's look at just like online engagements in general, right? Do
Okay.
you think
Yeah.
that the the way that Destiny like will like ban people, right? Do you think that that's not that it's unique because you said it doesn't matter if it's unique, but do you think that people either don't expect that or that they don't like that in the spaces that we're in?
People don't seem to mind it too much. I mean, some people obviously don't like it, but some people are fine with it.
Um, so I've been streaming for about 2 years, and I I feel like when people, this is one of the reasons I find a lot of people have a lot of internet burnout, especially when they're streamers, or if they get a Twitter account and it blows up really big and they don't know how to deal with pushback from Twitter or some shit like that. Is that they uh, don't know how to deal with harassment or they confuse people very hardcore disagreeing with them as harassment, right? Do you think that not that I think that you're unable to deal with online harassment because you probably received a whole bunch, but do you think that somewhere in that same vicinity you feel towards DGG's response to you, where it's like on one hand you had a platform that was a certain size, and then you had rapid growth, and as a result of that rapid growth, you had a lot more eyes on you, and as a result of
Hmm.
all those more eyes on you, you got more critique. And that
No, his
might
community is fucking toxic. Clearly, they're like vicious and misogynistic, and they're assholes. I love them, but there's serious problems with the community. They are toxic.
okay. When getting into this space, I wasn't speaking to toxic or not because I feel like all online spaces are toxic. Um, I've never encountered even all the ones that explicitly say that they're not toxic. Often are the ones that are
Oh wait,
extremely toxic.
they're saying that I'm misogyny fuel. Okay, I didn't say it wasn't my fault that you're toxic. I have played my part, but you the community is toxic. I'm not saying that it's that I'm blameless.
Okay,
Okay, continue.
yeah, you're fine. So, Rage Pope, fuck off. I'm not asking anything about financial pressures. I can I say kill yourself on YouTube? I actually don't know what the rules
No,
are. Oh no?
absolutely
Okay.
not.
Well, I didn't say that, so. Um so yeah, I guess like for me, and when I look at other orbiters, I've never seen anyone burn out as a specific result of DGG disagreeing with them or criticizing them or anything like that. I've seen some pretty big blowups with Destiny's community with other people. Um, one person who I was close to, Hans of Harkir, that happened with. Um,
Hmm.
and but I think that like the burnout that he experienced from streaming didn't come from Destiny's community, but from much more vicious communities that would have like doxed him and like leaked his real life career out and got him fired and shit, right? Um, do you were you expecting different from Destiny's community?
Um, no, as I said, my problem is that his finger is on the scale. I can deal with a mob, but I can't deal with it if I can't fucking respond to them. Like if they're gonna dogpile me, I should be able to respond. I think that's like very simple. I don't understand how you are mental gymnasticsing
No, I'm
around
not
this.
mental at this point. Like I'm out of debate mode. I'm just asking you questions. I'm not trying to
Oh,
like
okay, 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 okay.
okay,
Uh,
understand where I'm coming from. I'm not like an ultra
okay.
aggressive fucking debate
I'm
bro.
gonna
Okay,
calm down. Okay, I'm gonna
yeah.
chill out. I didn't expect any different. No. Their response to me and their response to things that are happening are fine. Like that's not the problem. My problem is that I feel that they are curated in a way that the community is culled in a way that makes them more toxic. They're more hive-mindedly in support of Steven, which means that when he disagrees with you, they fucking shit on you really hard. And there's no pushback within the community because all my fans are banned. It's like made into a weapon. Just stream yourself debating DGG chat. Maybe I fucking should, assholes.
Do what now?
Somebody
Join?
in DGG chat said I should just stream myself debating them.
Why not? I mean, that would be good content.
I don't know. It feels a little invasive to be like, I'm going to like set up a time for me to talk to GGG chat. I feel like I don't know.
I think that would be killer content, and I think everyone involved would get a massive kick out of it. But yeah, I guess like when the only reason that I asked to talk to you, and I plan on talking to Lav, plan on talking to Stardust, and I also have to interview her for a college assignment. And Cherry and maybe are relevant about all of this, right?
Yeah.
I'd have to think about anyone else that was involved, but I I'd probably be considered a Destiny orbiter, but like I'm Pluto, right? I'm
Sure.
way out there. I never have a reason to talk to Destiny, and I'm not gonna bother him if I'm just like gonna jump in there and start shooting the shit, right? It doesn't feel
Yeah.
like it's my place. Um, so when I see a bunch of people that are like jumping on there, and I think that the only exception to this would be you and the situation with Cherry, right? When I see a bunch of people, orbiters, jumping into his call and like tattling on other orbiters like he's their dad while he's trying to do other content or while he's playing Factorio and all of this other shit, right? Um, like it feels super fucking weird to me, right? That feels like more of an invasion on his time, on his space, more than anything else that you've talked about thus far, right?
I guess so. I don't like the norms around that though. I think that Steven should just set boundaries and sometimes he does. People will come in if he doesn't want to talk to you, he'll just say get the fuck out and like kick you or tell you to leave. And I think that's good. Like I don't like the idea that like if he gives you perms, tells you to come in whenever you want, and then he's playing Factorio, then it's open season. Like I think you should probably make sure you have something worthwhile to say if you're going to do that. And I think it's weird that people do it without doing it. But I don't think it's like an intrusion. I just think you might be shooting yourself in the foot when you jump on stream and don't have anything like to say.
Yeah, I feel like the all of the drama that's been happening recently, again with that exception of your unbelievably callous flashing of Cherry. Um,
Yes.
I feel like all of it has been a very strange, and I don't think that you're like trying to clout chase off of Destiny because like everyone in Destiny's community knows who you are. If they were going to like follow you over to, I don't even know where you stream now, but if they were going to follow you over there, then they
Somewhere
would have
dark
dark
and
and
quiet,
um.
dark and lonely.
So like with the exception of that one situation, I feel like it's been the doldrums of content and the most unbelievable weird interaction between adults. Um, and for people that generally try to tout themselves as like highly empathetic people who understand where other people are coming from and are, you know, uh, fighting the good fight against, uh, emotionally inept people. Um, it feels weird to see them engaging with each other in this way, right? Which is why I was so aggro when I jumped on the other day, and I apologize for that because I realized I could have started off
No,
way
that's fine. If you
way
want to, if you
calmer,
want to,
but
if
I
you want to
was
come in hot, that's fine. I have no problem with that.
um
Somebody's asking about me saying that my physical therapist said I should wear my pants pulled down. I feel like I should respond to this allegation.
go for it. I don't give a fuck.
When Cherry asked me why my pants were low, I said, um, she said, why did you stand up with your pants low? And I said, because my physical therapist said I should not sit for extended periods of time. She said, did they tell you to have your pants pulled up? And I said, no, they told me to have my pants pulled down. That's why I did that. I was joking. I thought she was joking, and I was also joking. I didn't even think my pants were pulled down. I thought Cherry was just doing her thing where we banter and riff off each other, and so I was just playing a straight man to whatever she wanted to say. Then Shaylin wrote in her twit longer that I was advised that I was following medical advice. Now, it is true that I have been told um, I think it was my physical therapist. It might have been my doctor, or it might have been my massage therapist, or it might have been two of the three. I don't remember who said this, but I said that if I'm wearing tight pants and it puts pressure on my disc, I can feel like it tingling in my feet. And then I looked it up, and they said, well, then just don't wear tight pants. And then I looked it up and saw online similar advice. If you have a herniated disc, you shouldn't wear stuff with a tight waistband pressing on the area. So that is why Shaylin said that. But I was not referencing that when I said that to Cherry. I was just joking, and I thought she was joking.
Yeah, I mean, I would have read that as a joke as well, but yeah, I guess like I feel like it's super fucking weird. And then again, like we've already been through all this, and I don't want to take like 15 minutes and then get cut off in the middle of a in the middle of an argument again, which is why I'm just
Sure.
like chill chatting. But
Okay.
I I feel like obviously we disagree on a lot of the shit that your your read of the situation. I have a very different read of the situation. And I guess like I'm looking at it from a point of view of um not only do I think that Destiny has a right to, which you also think that he has a right to moderate his community in whatever way he sees fit. But
I think he has a right to, but I think he has an ethical duty to change how he's moderating his community. I think it's wrong.
right.
So I don't know if that means it's not a right. I don't know what word we're using. He
He has
there's
the
no
ability.
code of
Sure.
there's no code of ethics preventing him from doing that, but I think there should be, and I think um Destiny partially invented streaming, and I think now he should invent streaming ethics.
Um I guess like for me the space lends itself towards more joking bans, right? Which is why you see like 40 people at a time get nuked from his chat while he's playing League for saying that he's never going to get reach diamond or whatever the fuck it is. Um
Yeah,
uh and I feel like you probably don't have a problem with that.
I
Um
do.
oh, you do.
I do.
Okay. Why? Why? Because
Because
like the
it provides cover for other nefarious bands.
but like the space itself, like it's obviously jokes, and it's a thing that actually builds the community up even more because people think it's funny. And so people, even if they get banned for doing that, they have a certain feel of like accomplishment. Like, yeah, I was one of the motherfuckers that got banned, and it's a 24-hour ban, but worth it, right?
Yeah,
Oh
I understand that
sevens.
a lot of the people who get banned don't mind it, but my problem with it is that it provides cover for other bands to be portrayed as jokes when they're not so funny, in my opinion.
Um so what is the limit for you? At what point do you think it's okay to ban someone?
I think that we should do free speech in communities the same way we do it in the country, which is we have a constitution or a set of rules that and separation of powers to protect the community from the ego or feelings of the creator, which is why the only person I've ever banned from my community personally is Lav. I didn't ban her directly, but I told the mods, here is my rationalization. Do you guys think we should ban her? Do you want to vote? They voted to ban her. And then my admin said, I want to unban her. And I said, you have the final say. And he said, let's compromise. I said, I think that this is a mistake. I think she's going to do something horrible. And he said, if she doesn't do anything horrible in the next 2 months, I'm unbanning her. And I was like, okay. That's the only ban decision I've ever been involved in. And it was full of checks and balances and democracy and differences of opinion and all this stuff and discussion. Other than that, my mods do all of the bans, and we have like rules laid out. And they, if a mod gets too ban happy, they get in trouble with the other mods or they get demodded. So I like the way that I'm doing it, and the way I'm doing it would definitely. I've never said we're banning all fans of X creator. That's like insane to me.
Um, if if someone was brigading your subreddit, would you do that?
They are.
Well, hold
DGG
on,
is brigading my subreddit.
really quick, just to be like separate of this situation. Let's say you get into like a big fight with Vaush, and then you know
I'm in a big fight with Steven, and his subreddit is 100% brigading my subreddit. My subreddit is full of Steven supporters making hate posts about me. There's somebody made a post yesterday that just said pedo. Like I've got like
And you don't think
I
that
am
that
being
one's worthy of being
no, if you no, absolutely. I went on I filmed myself saying that the girls and cuties were hot. So if you want to call me a pedo, I have every ounce of respect for you doing that. It makes total sense to me. I get why you're saying that. I don't agree. I might think it's a little stupid, but it's not bannable. I fucking said little girls were hot. So if you want to call me a pedo, then fucking go ahead.
First Amendment. What if they were like doxing isn't illegal? Do you think if someone was doxing, would that be past the line?
Yeah, I would ban somebody for doxing 100%.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out what the lines are because next time.
Dude, saying where I fucking live or where somebody lives is pretty different from calling me a pedo.
Oh no, for sure. No,
I
it
think.
no, it
Correct.
absolutely is.
Yeah, I'm not like a free speech absolutist in terms of I'm just saying like I don't think you should ban people for saying that you were wrong about something. That's insane to me. Oh, Forethought got banned because he said on Steven's stream that somebody
Yeah, I
told
saw
him.
that.
Okay. So my admin was like, look, if you're threatening the existence of the subreddit, that is one of the things we will ban for. If you try to get the subreddit deleted or you try to get my Discord banned or you try to get my YouTube banned or whatever, then you get banned for that. You're not allowed to do that.
Gotcha. I guess like next time we talk, uh, and maybe you can like lay out because I only have one bullet point for this. I tried to write
Okay.
out what I thought your points were as best as I understood them. And I only had one bullet point for this one. That you're like, what do you think Destiny needs to do for orbiters? Because my understanding is like your idea is that he needs to be way more aware of the kind of pushback that they get and shield them from that to some degree, or
Okay.
to
So
yeah.
specifically, I think he should acknowledge the power differential officially. He says, of course there is, but then other times he said, I think I want just a good faith statement that he is going to keep it in mind that when he's calling Lav a dumb bitch and she's calling Cherry a dumb bitch, they're different. That his words carry a huge weight with them, and that matters and that should be taken into account. So one is I think he should make a statement that there's a power differential he'll keep in mind. Two, um, I don't think he should ban any of his orbiters from defending themselves, or even I'm not even defending themselves, explaining themselves, or criticizing him in the subreddit. And then three, I think if somebody wants to tell him that he's doing something unethical or give him pushback, I think he should make an effort to clear out space for that to happen. In some ways he has, like we're talking Friday, and I really appreciate him agreeing to, talk about this with me. But on the other hand, I feel like when you jumped in and started yelling at me, like if I think he should at that point he should be like, hey, listen, like I want the feedback. I want to hear what Max is saying. I want to hear him out. Instead, I feel like I'm fighting for my life to like be able to get one point out with like 8 people dogpiling me. I don't think he should allow that.
In a conflict between two orbiters, then what should be
What
the
should
move?
Steven do?
Yeah, if he's supposed to be protecting his orbiters, should he show favoritism to one of them, or because in the situation between Lav and Cherry, I'm pretty sure Lav is a much larger creator than Cherry. Should he have like stepped in and defended Cherry from being called a bitch by Lav, or should he have just let them fight that out once it's orbiter on orbiter violence? Now we're
I don't
talking
know.
about.
I think he should probably on a case by case basis. I think in that case, like if they want to call it, I think you should just come up with some kind of like idea of how much blood sports are you going to allow and in what situations are you going to allow them. My problem with that conversation was that I was getting fucked over. That was a conversation where I really needed to be able to defend myself without people changing the subject or bickering with each other. And I think Steven should have protected me there by stopping them from fighting. But if I hadn't been there and had been in a different context, like, no, if you want to let people call each other bitches on your stream or insult each other, then fine. But still think there should be some thought put into like at what point are you going to say okay, this has gone far enough. Um, but I'm not as concerned about protecting orbiters from each other unless they really are like um, different sizes. Um, like
Okay.
I think if I don't know.
I guess like for me, like I feel like in a space where we're all at least relatively adults. I mean, there are some people who are like 18-year-olds or just slightly younger than that stream and have come on Destiny stream before. Um, in in those situations where we're all adults, I feel like
What is Jay DMing you?
I don't know. I couldn't even tell what the fuck it was because the window is all squished. It was probably a dick, which is why I was about to type them, but I
Oh,
now I said it.
okay.
Um, so I feel like if we're all adults at that point, it's like we should be able to handle what someone else says to us, especially if we know what the fuck we're getting into. Um, uh, we know that we're going into a hostile environment where we're going to be arguing with people, especially if it's one of those ones that's uh, a panel of like 8 people, right? Um, it feels like the Orbiter should be expecting to get pushback even from Destiny himself, because it feels like the way that you set it up in the conversation, I think not last night, but the night before, um, made it seem like there's no way for Destiny to get like frustrated and like dunk on someone that is an Orbiter.
Oh, no, I think it's fine for him to get frustrated and dunk on someone. Um I think he should just keep in mind that if he's going to scream at somebody they're a dumb bitch, that has long-lasting effects for that person in the community. And if he's going to do it, I think he should have guardrails in place that allow the person to fight back, where they can again say like, "Hey, I think that was wrong, and you should have to, hear me out about why that was wrong." I think he should have to sit through that and listen to that, and they should be able to respond on the subreddit or wherever else that they feel they need to like protect themselves.
Do you
Um, yeah.
So if he's able to like go hard on people and dunk on them, then what was the problem with him saying like "shut up, you dumb bitch"? Right?
I don't think there's specifically a problem with him doing that. I was bringing it up to point out that he does denigrate his orbiters sometimes. He was saying he doesn't. He was saying he hasn't called Lav stupid. That was what we were arguing about. And I was like, you've called her stupid in this conversation. He called her stupid after that, and he called her a dumb bitch the other day. So Steven has called Lav stupid a ton of different times in a ton of different situations. And so I wasn't trying to say like you should never do that. I was saying we should talk about how to like what are the ethics around you calling people stupid, then banning people for misogyny. Then there's these waves of misogyny and waves of people hating the person after you say it. I feel like this is shit we need to talk about and like figure out how to handle. I wasn't coming in with like an ironclad prescription or even or description of even like what's happening and how it's affecting people. But then he just like, got very defensive and was like, I don't call Lav stupid. And it's like, okay, that's just objectively not true.
Uh, we briefly touched on this at the very beginning. It feels to me like Destiny's stated positions on Lav are pretty soft. It doesn't feel like he's calling her a retard.
It
Doesn't
doesn't matter. No, stop.
no,
That's not
that's
that's
what I was
not a
about to
response
ask
to what
you.
I just
No,
it doesn't okay.
yeah, just to
I'm
be
gonna
clear.
freak out.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't freak out, okay?
I am gonna freak out.
All right. Well, freak out after we get off the call. So, I'm not trying to like this is like a little bit off of what you said. This isn't directly responding to that.
Okay.
My my feeling of what Destiny said about Lav is my impression of Lav after myself interacting with her on like a politically provoked panel one time, and seeing her talk to other people. It feels like she's uh, in like and very similar to me in a very similar time in her life at 24 going through like a massive fucking chain, right?
Yes.
And
Okay.
I
What is your what?
so I'm just
I
what the
can't.
question
I
is,
can't
right? This is the
handle.
question.
Okay.
Why
What's
is
the
it why is saying that calling her stupid or denigrating her?
calling someone stupid is objectively denigrating them.
But he never
Calling
said
someone a
stupid.
dumb bitch is He called her stupid. What are you talking about? Yes, he did.
Okay, I
He
haven't
called.
seen
He's
that.
called. Okay, in the stream, as soon as Lav brought up thou who the one who shall not be named, Steven said, Lav, you are too young and actually fucking stupid to know what you're talking about. That was his first response.
I think that
This
that's
was
more
after.
defensible than call like so when
Wait,
I'm
stop,
talking.
stop, stop. I don't
Okay,
want to deal
go
with your
ahead.
mental gymnastics.
I'm not
Stop,
mentally
stop, stop, stop,
gymnastics.
stop, 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 stop.
Okay,
You
okay,
just
go
said he
ahead.
doesn't call her stupid, and I quoted him word for word calling her stupid. Now you're going to defend it. It's fine if you want to defend it, but stop fucking saying he didn't say it.
Hold
He
on.
called her stupid. He has called her stupid multiple times. He called her a dumb fucking bitch. Steven has called Lav stupid multiple times. This is just a fact. If you want to debate whether it's okay for him to do that, that's fine, but don't argue with me and say he didn't do it.
Hold on, really quick. Okay, just like the difference between like actually saying that someone is stupid and like they're like not intelligent, and then like calling them like stupid because they said something that was like
Stop
way off
splitting
base.
hairs. Just bite the bullet. He called her stupid, and he has multiple times.
Okay, I'll bite the bullet on my statement that he hasn't called her stupid.
Okay,
This is
he has called her stupid. Now,
to be
is that
ultra clear when I'm talking
you're
about like
not,
no.
bro? What is your question? I'll just ask the question.
I've already
He called her stupid. Okay,
yeah okay
next, like, well, yeah, and
okay. Like if I said that it was really stupid to yell at me just now, like I wouldn't be calling you not intelligent, which is what I'm talking about. I don't think that
I'm not saying that's not what I'm talking about, though. Stop
Okay, we're
reframing
talking-
what I'm
then we're
saying.
talking
You asked
past
me
each
a
other.
question,
We're
and
talking
I'm
past
trying
each
to answer
other.
your question.
Okay,
No,
then
you're just
explain
you're just
it to
fucking
me.
obfuscating what's
I'm
happening.
not trying to obfuscate anything.
Okay, then
I'm
if
letting
you
talk.
okay,
Go ahead.
what is the question?
The question is, has Destiny
Is calling someone stupid denigrating them? Is that the question?
No.
Yes,
Has
objectively.
Destiny-
If you call someone stupid, you're denigrating them.
Okay.
Yes.
Has Destiny ever denigrated her intelligence?
Is calling someone stupid an implication that they are not intelligent? I would say yes. In the instances when he has called her stupid, I would estimate he has called her stupid between 2 and 5 times. On those occasions, he denigrated her intelligence. Yes.
Okay. I disagree. In the same way that I just like the example that I just said.
Okay.
Like
You
it
don't
was
think calling someone stupid
I was
is
just about to give
denigrating
you
their
like the
intelligence?
example that I just
I
brought
don't
up,
want
right?
an example. I just want you to
But
bite
I've already
this
said
bullet.
it. I've already said
Okay,
it. The
great. So
example
then
was
we
that,
have
like,
reached an impasse on this topic.
saying that
We've
it was
reached
stupid to yell at
no,
me, right? Because it,
no.
like we're chill.
That's not, no, he didn't say you're stupid to yell at me. He said you are a dumb fucking bitch, and he said you are actually stupid. So again, the fact that you need to water it down to you're stupid to yell at me means that you don't even agree with your own point.
We have
So now we
fundamentally
are in a
different reads on it.
semantic hellhole.
It's not a
Where
semantic-
now we
we
are
just
now we
have
are
a
in
different
another we are
read
no
on
no
it.
we are in a semantic. It's not a different read. Semantically, you are saying calling someone stupid is not denigrating their intelligence. Fine. Maybe you and I are not speaking the same fucking language. In English, I think it does mean that. But if you have a different understanding of either what stupid means, of what denigrate means, or what intelligence means, then fine. We're just going to have to agree to disagree. If you have any questions further, based on the premise that calling someone stupid is denigrating that person, I'm happy to answer it. If you think that there's no merit to my opinion because you don't think that calling someone stupid is denigrating them or their intelligence, then fine. You don't have to hear the rest of what I think. But I'm not going to fucking argue with you about what denigrating means or stupid or intelligence. I don't want to argue about that.
Okay, we don't have to argue about that then. We just have like fundamentally different standards by which we would like say that someone is actually attacking someone's intelligence.
I didn't
And I
say
can accept-
actually wait, I didn't say actually attacking her intelligence. I said calling someone stupid is denigrating their intelligence. This does not mean that he has not said she is smart other times. This does not mean that he thinks she is actually stupid deep down. This does not mean that he was trying to convince everybody that she's stupid. It is clearly a denigration of someone's intelligence to call them stupid. That is what the fucking word means. But you are trying to argue something further downstream. You're trying to say this didn't affect people's opinions of her, or you're trying to say that he didn't really mean it, or you're trying to say that he was blah, 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 blah. That's fine, but you should argue those points downstream. You should not try to set it up now by saying that you think that calling someone stupid is not denigrating their intelligence. It just objectively is.
Okay. Well, if that's how most people read it, or if that's how most people use it, then I use it in a very different way. And I can accept what you're saying. Again, like I'm not trying to like weasel. I'm not trying to obfuscate anything. I have no fucking agenda. All right. Again, like I said at the very beginning of this,
All right.
I do
All right.
respect your
So
intelligence.
are you okay? So do you have a point or a question
No,
or what?
I was just
Where are we
trying to.
going? Where's this
All I
going?
was trying to like ask is like, do you think that the act of like, like the statements that he's made about um his impression of her as like a person who is growing up, do you think that that is inherently like attacking her intelligence in the same way that she is like saying it on her streams and stuff like that? That's all I was
S-
asking.
Saying that she is a person who is still growing up is a way to gently and affectionately discredit what she is saying. If it was not combined with him refusing to take her feedback or criticisms of him, it wouldn't come off that way. But it's in the same conversation where she's like, Steven, I want you to hear me out. I want you to hear the hurt that you've caused me, and I want you to hear what I was trying to say about your relationship with Max. In that conversation where he's like, well, you're just a 24-year-old and you don't know what you're talking about, then it does come across as denigrating her and, I don't know, calling her stupid, but at least calling her unseasoned, green, wet behind the ears, stuff like that.
Um, yeah, I guess I see it differently because in one way I would say
I don't
that the
understand. Wait,
no, I'm about to explain.
you see his purpose differently.
No,
You see the
I
effects
because I
differently, but you can't say that telling somebody that they're young and immature is not a way to discredit them. I'm not saying that you have to agree with what she said. Maybe you think she is young and immature and you disagree with all of her points in that conversation. Then it would make a lot of sense for him to say that. I'm not saying he shouldn't have said it if that's what he thinks, but it is objectively discrediting to say to somebody when they give you feedback, well, you're really young.
yeah, I understand that like completely. Um which is why I'm trying to like get across to you. I'm not like saying that you're necessarily wrong or that the way that it makes her feel or the perception is necessarily wrong on that. Uh I'm what I'm trying to say here is that I would say that even though I feel like I was just as intelligent at 24, there were things that I needed to do to like understand the world better. I didn't have enough information. I was just as
Yes,
in
these are
yes.
all discrediting things that we use to talk about younger people. And sometimes we discredit them for good reasons. Sometimes we discredit them for bad reasons. Sometimes it's confusing. I don't get what your fucking point is. It is obviously
I'm
discrediting to somebody to tell them that they're young.
there.
That is what that is
You're
doing.
thinking I have an ulterior motive or like some underlying question here. I'm just asking what your opinion
Okay,
of the statement is. That's all I'm asking.
I don't have an objective opinion of the statement. I think that if somebody is coming to you and saying, I think you mistreated me, or they're defending themselves against you saying that they're a gaslighter, I think it is probably overly defensive to tell them that they are young and immature in that conversation. I think you should probably pick one role and stick to it. If your role is evaluator of the other person's intelligence, then you probably don't have any business pretending that you're listening to their feedback.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, the
Well,
chat wants you to be reminded that this started with her bringing up thou who, or the why do I keep saying thou?
you can just say, "Oh, well, I guess I'm being hosted on
She
DBD."
who
So
shall not be named.
yeah,
They want you to remember that that started with her bringing that up. I'm not saying that Steven didn't have a emotional reaction that made or led him to call her stupid. Or maybe he thinks that she is actually stupid for bringing that up. That's not related to whether he called her stupid or not. I just like I'm not saying that he calls people stupid for no reason. He has his reasons. You may think they're good reasons. Whatever. But he still called her stupid.
I okay. I I all all I'll say, and like we don't have to like argue this or relitigate it or whatever the fuck. I just see like different levels of the allegation that he's like calling her stupid or a retard or anything like that, and that calling someone too young or like inexperienced or something like that isn't to me nearly as an
I didn't
indictment on
say it was. I said it's different. I said it's a gentle discrediting of the person
right,
to
exactly.
say that they're young and immature.
Right. And again, all I'm saying, and again, I think this is something that we just like fundamentally disagree on. We're never gonna like reach a point that we agree on it. I, o- while it might be
Oh
something
my
that is a
God.
gentle discrediting, right?
Yes.
I think that it's one that is reasonable, and I
I
think
didn't
that
say it was unreasonable.
oh, okay, that's the impression that I got from like how upset you were at
You
me.
asked me what I think is happening. I'm making purely descriptive statements, and these are not prescriptions. Stephen denigrated Lav's intelligence. That's an objective fact. Stephen gently discredited Lav by saying that she's young and immature. That's an objective fact. Whether he should have done that is different from whether it happened. If you want to know what I think about whether it should have happened or not, I guess I've implied it by saying if you are agreeing to listen to her feedback, it doesn't really make sense to call her young and immature at the same time while she's giving it to you. Those are at odds with each other. You should either say, I'm not going to listen to your feedback because you're stupid, or I am going to listen to your feedback, so let's hear you out. But it doesn't make sense to try to have it both ways and be like, yeah, what is your pushback for me, stupid little girl?
Do you think that there are some criticisms from someone that is younger that you have like said that about that you would see as reasonable, but some that you might look at and say like, okay, you're literally wrong about this because you don't have the life experience to understand it, right? Like you haven't experienced this yet because you haven't.
Yes, I get
Yeah,
the content of what I get why he's discrediting her. I get how he's discrediting her.
but
I
the
don't
way that you're
understand what you're
framing it,
talking about. Why are you saying this? I understand what it means when you tell someone they're too young to understand what's happening.
okay, then
Yes,
why?
that is what people mean. Well, I don't understand why you are saying what you're saying. I feel like we're stuck in mud and the tires are just spinning. I don't understand what this conversation is. I don't get what we're talking about or what's happening.
Okay, I guess I don't either because I'm clearly not understanding something from your point of view here. Okay, because I guess if we're gonna take a meta conversation run at
Yes.
this, okay,
Okay.
because I know you
Okay.
love meta conversations. The
Yes.
the things that you're saying, I can broadly agree with, but the tone and the aggressiveness in which you're saying it makes it feel like there is uh, or makes me feel that there is a underlying assumption that there is a ulterior or a subconscious move to attack her character as some sort of power play to never have to listen to her, right?
No, I'm extremely frustrated by the line of questioning because it feels like you're trying to prevent any conversation from occurring.
That's not my intention.
And
I
well,
Yeah.
that feels like what's happening. It feels like you ask a question and then I answer it, and then you're like, well, denigrating someone's intelligence, I don't know if that really calling someone stupid really fits that definition. And then we get sidetracked on that for 10 minutes, and it starts to feel like, well, you're not even trying to fucking have the conversation. Just bite the bullets, bite them all. Yes, he called her stupid. Yes, calling someone stupid is denigrating their intelligence. Yep, we could get that done in 5 seconds instead of 10 minutes. And so then it feels like you're stalling, but you're the one who's leading the conversation. So why are you stalling your own conversation? And I don't know what we're talking about. That's why I'm yelling, because I'm freaking out, because I'm fucking frustrated with you.
I'm sorry I'm frustrating you.
Okay.
So
Well, that's fine, but I would
yeah.
like I don't understand
we
what
can
we're
we can
talking
drop
about.
this because
Okay.
there's clearly a misunderstanding. Maybe I can listen back, like the chatter said at the very beginning of all this, and see where the miscommunication happened.
Okay.
Um. Yeah. I don't want to keep you all night. I guess like the thing that I want to like really touch on next time is because we kind of talked about it a little bit here. Just kind of the extent to which you think that Destiny should be or shouldn't be involved in protecting orbiters, because that's a strange thing here. Um, and yeah, would you be down for that?
Wait, I down for what? You're asking a question?
Yeah, the statement was I would like to revisit
Oh,
and
sure.
more in depth
Well,
the orbiter
yeah.
stuff, and yeah.
Well, yeah. What do you want to talk about?
Um, just like the extents and like why you think that there's an obligation there, because I would never have thought about that ever. But like I don't want to like litigate it right now because you said you only had 20 minutes. I think we're like running up on 30. So
Okay. Well, I'll just say for me it started with Erudite.
Mhm.
I called well, maybe Brittany Simon. I called Brittany Simon a Nazi sex cult leader and watched her get dogpiled for days. And then she said that it was like she said she was fine and that she didn't care, but it didn't seem like it was fine. It seemed like she did care. It seemed like it was pretty hurtful to her. Having been dogpiled myself multiple times by DGG, now I understand or I guess maybe I understood then when she talked about it. how painful it was. But Erudite, I said on another stream, I said something like very exaggeratedly negative about Erudite, and I was just heated. I was just yelling, freaking out, saying whatever. Like I had a reason for saying it, and I meant my intentions in saying it, but I didn't mean it literally, and it was taken very literally, and it caused people to brigade her and attack her and send her angry emails and harassing emails, and I didn't want that. And when I saw how that affected her, I at first I took a break from talking about other people on streams at all, because I was like, Jesus Christ, I was like horrified by the damage I had done. And I think that's what got me first thinking about, like, what are the ethics around how we should talk about each other, even if we're not significantly bigger. And then add to that, the person's dependent on me. So Erudite doesn't have to ever talk to me again. Her career will be fine. She's not depending on me to eat. But people who stream full time, who are Destiny orbiters, to some degree, they have to keep talking to him. And if he cuts them off, that's like their food is gone. And so the more dependent you are on somebody financially, the less you can kind of consent to being treated badly by them. The less ability you have to just walk away and say, like, oh, I'm not going to put up with this shit, or even push back on it. So I think that kind of transposing that interaction between me and Erudite, where I felt like I hurt her and sent a lot of hate her way, onto watching it happen to me, watching it happen to Lav, watching it happen to other people in the orbit with DGG, got me thinking that I don't think this is right. And then when he took away my ability to defend myself or to represent myself even more, that felt like that's even more not right. And his criticisms of me are getting harsher and stronger, and more exaggerated, I believe. Maybe he wouldn't put it that way. All that plus some sexual relationships mixed in with the various orbiters, the power differential, the money, the narrative control, all of it together just makes me think that some ethical norms should be put in place.
Okay. That gives me a lot to go off of for a future conversation, because there's so much that I want to talk about. Uh, if there wasn't a financial dependency on DGG for all the viewers and all that shit, would it be significantly different, or would that change your
I don't think I'm financially dependent on DGG or
anyone?
Destiny. Well, I'm just saying I'm not, and I'm still pretty upset by it. So I would say it's pretty psychologically devastating to be dogpiled in these like horrible posts, because like these people know a lot about me, like they'll dig up facts or ideas or draw narrative threads about me that are pretty cutting and vicious and really fuck with your head. And even if they don't, just knowing like, oh, there's like 200 hate posts about you. If you click this like link, you can just read them all. Even not reading them is like, it's awful. Like I'm having trouble sleeping. Just, yeah. I mean, yeah. I can't sleep as a result. So I don't need money from Steven anymore, but I would like to be able to sleep. And I think for other orbiters that are more dependent on him or their engagement with him, I think the more financial dependence there are, the more ethics are needed. But I think even without that, somebody who has that much control over kind of like what the crowd or what the internet sees of you or how they see you, yeah, I think the ethics are necessary. I mean, honestly, it starts with fucking Penguin Zero. He made that video about my Cuties review, smeared me as a pedophile. It got 6 million views, and it defined who I was for like 6 months. Hundreds, thousands of death threats, endless death threats, just so he could have a little fucking own on a video that probably took him 10 minutes to make, talking about how disgusting I am, and he probably never fucking thought about it again. And it I had people like calling my family members, people doxing my ex-wife, people calling my phone. Somebody found my phone number, calling me at 3 a.m. to scream at me. Just like fucking psychos unleashed on me. So yeah, I guess that's where I really started thinking about it. But yeah, I think ethics ethics need to be brought in. It needs to be not cool to initiate a dog pile. And right now in DGG, it's just like funny, and I think that's wrong.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'll let you go. All right. It was a nice conversation. Got heated sometimes, but
Yeah,
still fun. Um, what? How often are you streaming these days?
I stream 3 times a week or so
Okay. Well, the
for
next
like 2 to 3 hours.
okay. Well, the next time that I think that I'll have time, I'll shoot you a message. I don't know how far in advance you usually schedule things out, but I have to look at my school schedule and then my work schedule, and we can figure out the rest of it.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I mean, it depends on how many guests I have lined up. Usually, like a week in advance is usually good.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, you have a good one, all right, buddy?
All right, man.
right.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, yay. Sondsol sounds like Darius if he took his lithium. Holy fucking shit. God, fuck, dude. Oh, God. Okay. Okay, please. Please, for the love of God, someone please tell me. The part about Lav. What was happening there? Did I miss something? Was I absolutely fucking like giga schizo? Because all I could do was listen to him. I couldn't read what you guys were saying at all because there was so much shit going on. I'm not clicking on any more of your fucking links, all right? You fucking losers. By the way, sub to the YouTube, all right? Sub to the YouTube and like my stream. We're going to talk to one more person really quick, okay? About this. Yo,
Hey, hey, how you doing, man?
I am doing awesome. How about you?
Not too bad. Do you feel like you got a little mind fucked there?
There were 2 or 3 parts that I really felt like he was mind fucking me because
Mhm.
I couldn't tell if it was an intentional attempt at obfuscation or if it was some kind of just like miscommunication. And I was trying to figure that out in real time while also trying to listen to the words that he said, while also trying to look at 2 chats to see if I could like suss out where my misunderstanding or his misunderstanding was. Like
Mhm.
yeah,
My
'cause
lord,
there was something fucked, but I couldn't tell exactly what.
it feels like you're going through like a hypnosis therapy sometimes when you're like mid conversation when you're talking with him and you're not sure where you are. And it's not like it's an intentional thing. I don't think he does it to like fuck with you. I think he does it just because that's how he works. Um,
Yeah, I
what?
don't think that there was any kind of like intentionality behind like trying to fuck with me or anything like that.
Yeah. So what are you like confused by? Like where what has he said that you're kind of like left sitting with, okay, what the fuck?
Okay, he was hardcore pushing back on my reading of Lav as a person, and he was hardcore pushing back on basically anything to do with that and the idea that there's a difference between calling someone like unintelligent and calling someone like inexperienced in life. And he thinks
Okay.
that there is a, if I'm understanding him correctly, he thinks that there's it's like a difference without distinction almost, right? And you might want to, do you have like push to talk? There's something very loud in the
Oh,
background.
sorry. Yeah,
You're
I'll
all
take
good.
care of that.
But yeah, like it feels like there was something going on there, and I'm not 1,000% sure what it was.
Okay, I got you. So I think what you were looking for specifically to talk about the stupid comment was the idea that you can call somebody being stupid about something specifically without like insulting their intelligence. Like you can say to someone, okay, you're just ignorant. You're like ignorant of something. And that seems definitely like in specifically bringing up she who shall not be named. you are ignorant to this situation. You're being stupid. It's not that you are stupid. It's not that you are unintelligent. It's that you're being stupid. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that's just like how to represent it better. But I think a lot of the time Mr. Girl operates in an emotional manner, and that's going to mean that he's going to take it the way that it is interpreted emotionally, which means that you kind of have to remove the context when you're talking from his perspective, and you kind of have to force the context on him. And even then, he'll just like say, yeah, well, that's how I feel about it. So there's no winning, there's no win state.
I guess there wasn't like a win state for the conversation in the first place. Like I wanted to see if he would consider. Um, he said that he does consider these viewpoints, and I said just because I hadn't heard it, I wanted to see if like there would be some kind of like greater understanding afterwards. And he seemed to be able to understand the point of view, and that's all I was really trying to get out of him. I wasn't trying to convince him of it, right? Because I don't think that I could convince him if I'm honest. I feel like he's um he's very sure of his position. It feels like he's very um immovable on topics that he talks about on stream because he feels he's put enough thought and effort into it. Um,
Yeah.
and it's possible that he has, but I can't see what he does off stream. I can't look into his mind and see how many hours and uh, you know, how much introspection he's done on any point, which is why I was asking him. But it felt like me asking gave him the impression that I was trying to get a concession for him to change his position wholeheartedly. When that wasn't my goal at all. Um, so
Yeah, you just
and I
wanted him to
also
regard that as like, okay, but do you understand this? Is what you're looking for.
yeah, but when I asked him that, he would get really mad.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the
I did see
problem.
that.
Like
Yeah.
when I asked but you understand what I'm saying, right? And then he would get mad about it. And I don't have the kind of rapport with him that other people who are Destiny orbiters have. So maybe he took it that as like an aggressive thing when I asked him. I don't know. Um, which is why like at the end of like us talking about stupid calling Lav stupid, I asked him if uh, I asked him if we could have like a meta conversation, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's when we kind of chilled out a little bit more. Because again, like I didn't have any idea of like coming in here and like schizo screaming like Darius does at him. Like that was not my goal at all. Um, I more so just like wanted to understand why the fuck all the why it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks of the same fucking drama over and over and over. The fact that there is no point of evidence that he could either provide or accept that would change his mind on the like Vaush and Hassan thing about them like why they left the community was fucking insane to me. I I mean I said as much. Like I require so much more than what he was saying right there. And I don't know how you can arrive at a conclusion, not know how you arrived at that conclusion, or even like vaguely where you arrived at the conclusion, unless you're implanting your specific situation at it. But
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I think I can maybe elaborate a little bit for him. Specifically when he's talking about that. And if you understand this completely, just stop me.
yeah,
What he's saying is almost like how fucking penguins know when to travel to their specific fishing grounds at a certain time of every year to go get there and get their food or whatever. Orbiters, once they reach a certain size, have some sort of intrinsic desire to want to remove themselves from the bosom of Stephen and to go out and carve their own path and be removed from his audience and do their own thing and make themselves like a separate entity. And I think there's like a level of truth to it, but that's like one of 20 reasons when we look at like in reality the people that he brought up. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. the big split with Hassan was over the N-word discourse, like, and that like blew up in Hassan's face. So it was just really stupid. And with Vaush, like, even I believe you're correct on your timeline when you had said he wasn't really even streaming when the allegations thing happened, and even during the allegations thing, Steven was being extremely responsible. And specifically, he did what he did about like not letting Vaush come in because he was giving a platform to the person that had been victimized, which is probably something that Mr. Girl would agree with if it was illustrated like that.
Yeah, I didn't even want to get into like the Poppy situation because I don't know enough about it. But like thinking back on it, like maybe he doesn't either because he doesn't even know why like Vosh stopped talking to Destiny. It had very little to do with like wanting to like separate himself from Destiny's community because I think that Vosh probably would have loved to have like killed off a huge portion of DGG, right? Um, because he grew up in DGG. He was molded by it, and so like
That's right.
the idea that he would want to like inextricably like remove himself from it like completely at will is insane um to me. But like I
Yeah.
know more about the situation than he does, and if his entire view of this is based off of those situations, then there's no way for him to hold on to the positions, right? But
Oh
he
yeah.
also like when I asked him like what evidence could like change your mind, like if you saw like other things related to those controversies, like would that change your mind at all, right? And he said no. So like at that point, that's why I was like, okay, well, we have to move off of this point because neither of us are ever going to fucking concede on this. Never, ever.
Yeah.
Not in a million fucking years.
And I don't think I think there's probably a way that you can make the point that there's more to it than just they have this desire to remove themselves from the umbrella of Steven. But I don't think it was going to be there in like your first encounter. I don't think that was going to be a thing.
Yeah, I again like I've never built up any rapport with um Max ever. Uh like the first time we ever talked was when I jumped on while he was talking to Destiny and I got to yell like two sentences at him before Destiny started defending himself actually, which is what triggered me to go on because he was being so nice when I felt like Mr. Girl was being so unreasonable and he was being to what I felt like he was being like charitable to a fault, right? Like he wasn't defending himself at all. And he was speaking for all these orbiters, right? And I have never seen any orbiter say anything even remotely similar to what Destiny said. Or I'm
Oh,
sorry, what
sure.
Max said. And
Yeah,
so like I,
orbiters don't deserve rights. I think we can both agree
yeah,
on that.
fucking true, right? Which is why I don't
Except
fucking
Dan.
jump
Dan
on.
deserves rights.
Well, according to Max, he's not an orbiter. He doesn't count.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. Basically, whenever he does stream, it's just like watching cops and live PD, and he's drinking and getting drunk. Great time. But that's so rarely a thing. I would even say Dan's barely an orbiter.
An
Dan's like a
institution.
friend. Yeah, Dan is an institution. Thank you. The D in my name in DDG, that stands for Dan. Okay.
Yeah, I mean like I feel like there was like some ground gained because at least like there's more stuff directly related to the stuff that I asked him that's on the record now. Um, I still don't understand how he can square the fact, but like I can never like tread this ground with him again. Like the next conversation I'm having is only about the orbiters because I can never tread ground where on one hand Destiny is trying to preserve his um is trying to preserve his image with his community, but like he's not taking down the posts that show the most evidence that he's a inconsistent piece of shit or whatever. It's only the ones that get enough upvotes to catch his attention, and only the ones that are sufficiently mean to Destiny. And at that point, like I would ask, like, do you think that those are adding anything to the conversation, or do you think that they're like cluttering up an already very active subreddit? In which case, he would say it doesn't matter, and then we're just gonna like loop over and over and over. Um,
True. Yeah, and it's hard because I feel like from what I've seen, there are really good effort posts that are put out there that will like cite times and like show links on in streams when Steven was being either like too uncharitable. He was doing something that made his character need to be assessed. And that will be like taken into consideration most of the time if it's like well done enough. But yeah, like just shitting up the fucking subreddit with a bunch of low effort stuff. I don't think that normally goes by.
Yeah. So like ultimately it's not just a question of like freedom of speech, it's also like how much bullshit are we going to allow into the subreddit, because otherwise we're going to have like a million posts that are basically the exact same fucking posts over and over and over with varying degrees of schizoness in them. And are we going to have 5 posts up like that? Are we going to have 10 posts up like that where people are all having the same exact conversation? Or we're going to have one like big post where everyone is talking about the same thing that has more citations, that has more, proof in it, that is actually like a more reasonable critique of all parties involved. And at that point, it feels like the only answer is to say like, yeah, the second option is better, right? Like making sure that there's you know, a master post that's criticizing Destiny with everyone arguing in the comments, rather than 400 like schizo posts that bury the main critique post. And you know
Yeah, it just turns into a shit show. Yeah, I think he does have like one of the larger parts of one of the larger subreddits on the platform for a streamer at the very least. And there is like a level of responsibility to maintain it. I legitimately don't think people should just like pop in and be able to say, hey, this is how you should run it. I think that's just something that you discover over time. There's probably like little rules here and there that you can say, okay, we'll start off with that from the bat. But you literally just have to discover that kind of shit in real time. And I don't think what he said was anything that I would personally take seriously for that. Orbiters don't deserve rights. Joining the stream chat means you're essentially in the Thunderdome. You can bring up whatever you want, but just keep in mind, if it's really fucking stupid, you're probably going to be called really fucking stupid. And there's a lot of that.
yeah. All right. Well, anything else that you want to critique me on or tell me that I was right on and that I blew them out? Give me some positive reinforcement.
To give you some
I,
positive
I don't care
reinforcement,
if I'm joking.
listen, okay? You did a fine job for the first time because at the very least you didn't fucking like start walking around like a fucking caged animal from side to side, turned off all his lights and stared in the camera. So you know
Wait,
what you
who the
did?
fuck did that?
Oh, this is a legendary conversation. I'll link that to you. It's a fun watch. It's really good. But yeah, for the first time I think you did pretty fine. It's just acclimating yourself to the way that he talks. But yeah,
Yeah, I
good job.
tried to make sure I understood kind of like how he operated before um really like going hard into it. So um yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. DGG, I will accept one more call from you people. Choose your champion. If you guys want to talk shit or if
Thanks.
you guys want to tell me how I was Darvoed, because you guys keep on saying Darvo.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, thanks for having me on. Dan is the best orbiter. Love him to death. Have a good one, Sondsol. I'll
All
talk
right.
to you later.
Catch you later. PNG69. Is this person like a schizo poster or what? Well, I posted my thing in there. If they want to jump into my YouTube stream, there's a Discord link in the description. You suck at this game? I'm not trying. Listen, if I wanted to, I could play this. This is endless mode, and I would reach the year infinity. Okay. Calcifer, you are the biggest fucking hater I've ever fucking had. And that's fucking saying something because Haas went after me for a full fucking year after I talked to him. All right. You have schizopost. Every single time you see me in fucking DGG, you fucking start losing your fucking mind at me. Holy fucking shit. You are the actual most like tiny brained, tiny person who has never accomplished anything in your entire fucking life. Holy fuck. Well, if they want to fuck, if TNG, who the fuck is TNG? Yeah, I don't know all the fucking Destiny lore. Someone was saying that, oh man, Mr. Girl wasn't ready for this like non-grass toucher Sondsol to pull up all of the fucking Destiny lore. I know all the shit since I've started streaming and the the redacted lore. That's it. I'm not clicking it. All right. Well, nobody joined the Discord, so I'm logging out. You guys can have fun doing whatever the fuck DGG does. All right? Love you guys very much. If you haven't, subscribe to my YouTube. I'll catch you later. Holy fuck. One sec. Obama? Oh, shit. It's not Obama. What is this? Lately, I've noticed a lot more toxicity and bigoted language in DGG chat. At first, I thought Rim was overreacting with the ableism criticism, but after looking into it, this community has a serious problem that needs to be addressed. I've compiled some logs as evidence throughout this post. I hope Destiny reads this and decides to do something about the horrific state of this community. Okay, this is not at all what Mr. Girl was talking about. Why would you link me this fucking post? Like, oh man, Mr. Girl actually was super right. The orbiters have talked about how much shit they get from DGG. This isn't talking about him. This is people, other people. Oh, this is, oh, all of these are like TNG. Okay, got you. 1 second. Okay, I got you. Cool. TNG is a schizo person. Got it. All right, I'm actually gone. I'll catch you guys later.